got me sipping on the more fire when I need more power. That's why I done hit a lick off a couch and I need more finer. Big time a low rider, running no more fire. And I ain't been stacking up home grade. I still need more fire, more fire, more fire, more fire, more fire, more fire. Better wire it to my account. More fire, more.
Rich people have these problems where they have too much money. You have to decide where you're going to keep it because actually inflation matters to you, right?
Yes, inflation is a smart way of stealing other people's money.
Interest rates matters to you. Whereas for people who don't have money, don't always think about these things. However, you have to be thinking about them. The reason why they don't is because they don't have so many options of how are they going to store their value.
This is the Hustler's Corner.
Welcome to Virtual Mkuka as usual. Well, brothers and sisters, hustlers and squatters, straight up to that sharp sound on the count of 1, 2, 3. Click that like button. Click, 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 click. Thank you. Let's click the side to that subscription button so you become a part of the family. Click. Don't forget to switch on the notification bell. And if you can afford and you think this platform gives you valuable information, you can subscribe. Not only subscribe, but become a paying monthly member. A monthly paying member to, just help us grow. Keep the lights on. Before I get into it, let me just welcome my brother Penyo, who's a co-host to this platform, and would like to celebrate all of you guys. We hope you guys have had a great Women's Month, and we're not saying what things should only happen in Women's Month. Things are going to change, but it still doesn't mean that some of the great things that you did for our women, for our sisters out there, for our nieces. So we'd definitely love to have monthly paying members every month. If you go to the descriptions, the first link that you're going to find is a link that takes you to Gray's social media, is a link that takes you to Gray's YouTube channel. He has actually the biggest cryptocurrency YouTube channel in the whole of Africa. You're also going to find a link that takes you to Penyo's personal channels, and then a link that takes you to my personal channels, a link that takes you to More Fire merchandise, and a link that also takes you to opportunities in the property and real estate space. We are working with a company called Ekasi Noble Property Development, and there's some investment opportunities in Randfontein, in Bears-Nodier, just around Reimsig, next to Lanseria Airport, next to Cradle of Humankind, Silver Star Casino, a very prime place. And we do know that there's also a brand new upcoming city since the president has announced it, and they've been talking about it over the past couple of years, the smart cities that are coming up in South Africa. So the current upcoming estate that we are busy with is located in the area at which the upcoming smart city is going to be. I've been saying it's just literally an off-ramp away from Lanseria Airport. So some of you guys who are invested in that Magaliesburg space, Hartebeer space, Knopislachte, and those areas, some of you guys who are always shopping for farms, you probably know what I'm talking about. And some of you guys who are interested in getting into property, click that link. It'll take you to Ekasi Noble Property Development. The brother we're about to introduce, we've had him on the podcast a couple of times before. He's a friend of the podcast. There's a lot of podcasts all over the world that you'll find they'll have regular visitors. And it's a phenomenon all over I don't know who started it, but it's happening even locally, where there's just regular visitors to certain podcasts. He's not just only a visitor, he's a family member to this podcast, and he's a brother of ours. He's teaching us the cryptocurrency knowledge. And for some of you guys who've not experienced his content, or some of you guys don't know who he is, he's got a chance to share his story here. But some of you guys who might have heard him, you probably might have heard him with me or with MacG, because we're doing some collaborations, which we will explain about later. But you've never had him on a podcast with myself and Penyo, because Penyo's got his own questions as well as far as this cryptocurrency space is concerned. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Gray Jabesi, who's a cryptopreneur. How you doing, brother?
Right. Thanks, brother. Glad to be here. Glad to be live on Virtual Mkuku with Penyo as well, seeing for the first time. I told you before that Penyo is one of the reasons how I got more confidence to do more content on YouTube. I was watching your videos where he would literally just pick up his phone and say something and then publish it. So I was like, look, man, I can do this. And I was making some crypto YouTube videos, but it wasn't really that much until I started watching your videos. I was like, oh man, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
You just have to point and shoot and put it out there. And that's how my channel actually started becoming more active. So thanks to you, man.
No, thanks a lot, Gray. I'm quite inspired. I've seen your channel. I've looked at the work that you're doing. It's absolutely amazing. I admire the bravery. I don't think we speak much about bravery and taking a leap of faith and being willing to travel the world and meet people. But you inspire me as well. And I'm very happy that you're telling this story because it's an important story that we normally tell our virtual squatters. You don't need to start perfectly. Use your phone. Our phones are like superpowers and we don't even know them. No, we don't even know it. Use them and then see what you can do from there. I'm happy to speak about crypto today because I'm one of the biggest critics of crypto and blockchain. And this is what I wanted to say. If you guys fail to convert me today, you must put me in the zoo and lock me up with the chimpanzees because I'll probably be left behind.
This crypto thing is not it.
Or maybe
So
we
if,
failed.
if we fail today,
If we fail today.
this crypto
Yeah,
thing
if you
is-
fail to convert me today, it's flames.
Yeah,
and I
it's a
like the
problem.
fact that it's on record.
Yeah,
So that in a couple of years' time, he's going to look at that episode and be like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. It can go two ways, right? It's either if we don't convert you, one of us is going to regret it, either us or you.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's
yeah,
true.
we can play that game.
So I'm excited. I'd like to challenge all the virtual squatters to watch all the interviews with yourself and Gray, all the interviews with Podcast and Chill and Gray as well, because there's a lot we're not going to cover for time reasons.
Right.
There's a lot of questions I have that I'm not going to ask because some of those can be answered there. I personally want to go in very hard on the crypto, and then I want to go in very hard on just Gray's journey because he's been traveling the world. And I just want to know some of his thoughts around, and maybe that will be my first question. Your thoughts around, in particular, Africans. And by Africans, I'm speaking Black Africans, and I'm speaking all other races of Africans.
Yeah.
The importance of us traveling the world to go and seize opportunities out there. What is out there that you've seen? What are we sleeping on outside of just crypto?
Oh yeah, that's a very good and loaded question, right? But the first thing is this, right? If you look at all the big companies, let's look at Apple. It's the biggest company in the world.
Yeah.
It's here in South Africa, it's in Ghana, it's in Nigeria, it's everywhere. If you want to win, right, for everything that's huge, you have to break through your boundaries. So if you're living in a village, you have to be able to break out and go into a city. The more people you interact with, the better your chances of survival and success. So we can look at this even from, let's say, a jobs perspective, right? People say that unemployment is this number, but they're talking about typically a national rate.
Yes,
of
it's within a certain geography.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
But the moment you break out of that, that number does not apply to you anymore. You know, so it's pretty much with everything. So in South Africa, you have 60 million people roughly. If you have a business here, that's your cap of how many people you could reach within.
How many resources you have?
How many
You're limited to
resources?
60 million.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
The moment you can break into the neighboring country, that has doubled almost, and then you just keep adding up and adding up. So it's all about scaling, you know? A lot of things that we're sleeping up on is this mentality of that because you're born in this corner of the world, this is all you have, this is all you. You just have to stick there. But then this whole world that needs to be lived, you know? It's for us. You look at people who conquered the world. They were moving from one corner of the country or of the world to the other.
So it's always explorers.
It's
that
all
conquered.
explorers,
Yeah.
exactly. So I want to conquer the world. I cannot just be in one place and expect that I'll have reach as much as possible. I need to go out there and win, you know? So,
Sorry, I just want to remove something on your beard here. There
thank
might
you.
be some hot honeys
Sonche.
who are watching this thing and are like, no, man.
Sonche.
Yeah.
I love the point you're making about limiting resources to your geography because even within the 60 million that we're speaking about, if you look at the racial groups, if you look at in various cities, unemployment levels are different. There are people, when you speak about unemployment, they're like, what unemployment? Because we're all working Ekasi.
Yes.
So I think it's also another challenge to young people that stop, number one, don't have victim mentality. Number two, don't find yourself stuck thinking the nation. You're not the president. You're not getting paid to worry about the nation. Focus on where you have influence. Try and kill unemployment for yourself, for your family, for your community. And even if it's not in South Africa, to what Gray is saying, if the opportunities are elsewhere, move.
Yes.
Or move your people and say, no, if we can't get the jobs we want here, then move.
We go there, yeah. And look, no, you, it's not your responsibility to solve all political problems of the world.
Yeah.
And when I talk politics, it's typically attached to nationality and nations, right? And I think that's one of the things that's holding a lot of people back. The fact that you think that you have to always coincide with one part of the country, and when things are not well, and you just fall victim to it. It's like, well, look, if things aren't working on this side of the world, well, go somewhere else.
Move to fertile earth, which is what we've always done.
Exactly, right? That's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, when I started traveling, the number one thing that now broke out in my head is just like, I don't apply myself, like I'm not attached to any place anymore. I'll go where
You're a
I'm
global
accepted.
citizen.
Exactly. I go where I'm accepted. I have opportunities. I can grow and thrive. That's where I'll be. It doesn't matter where it is.
That's what I love about crypto. That's what I've always said, that you
Right.
can just thrive with your laptop, your phone, and just with data,
Absolutely.
with just Wi-Fi.
Internet. Danke
Sorry-
internet.
sorry for
Danke
dis-
cell phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love that he's touching on that part. Sorry, continue. Sorry for
Sure.
disturbing you.
Yeah, so that's all I was saying, that, and with crypto, obviously, it helped me to even exercise this whole international global mentality even more, that actually it's possible. You realize that this whole borders and countries, it's all fluff. Because if you think about Johann Rupert and all the rich guys, bro, like they're everywhere.
Yeah. They're
They
not
don't care.
confined
They're
to
not
one
con-
nation.
You already know. So
Yeah.
it's like the Rothschilds, they have a farm here, they have it somewhere else, they have a home in London. The whole one place, one country, one town thing. It's just an old, it's like a scam that we've been sold, and it's all in our head, just like most things.
Yeah.
And once you get out of it, you realize like, okay, the world is here for the taking.
Sbu, I know you apologize for interrupting. I don't think you need to. Number one, normally I think what I've come to understand with the Virtual Mkuku, we're an educational platform. We're here to allow especially our guests to tell their story. Ukray is our brother. He is a regular here. So I don't think the conversation for today is going to be similar to, let's say, a new person coming to tell their story for the first time. So that's why I think if we want to interrupt, we can call in.
Yeah,
So
show his
must be
family.
better.
Yeah.
If people are saying we're interrupting, we're like, it's great. You can watch the other interviews, etc.
And just to add on that contribution, and it's okay, you guys must hold us to account.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I also see a lot of comments that sometimes criticize us for not going in deeper with our guests. And I want also our audiences to understand that's the structure of how we put together this podcast. Penuel has got his own baby. Gray has got his own baby. I got my own baby. And the guests that we usually have, they've got their own platforms as well. And there are also other platforms out there that go deep or that go into debating, that go into going in on your guest.
Yeah.
But this is that's not that platform. I mean, if you look back, especially for our new subscribers, if you go maybe let's say 10 episodes back from now, you'll see that a lot of guests, we've just given them a chance to go on
Yes.
and on and on. We don't go in. We don't
Yeah.
disturb their narrative. And there's a reason for that. And if you do the same thing with Oprah's old interviews,
Yeah.
that's the strategy. Only now that I understand it, that worked.
Yeah.
Because Oprah was not that person who was like, I'm only given 30 minutes on TV. I'm only given an hour. There's ads coming. Yeah, what about this? And then they're answering while they're still in the middle of giving, because some people are slow in sharing the.
Yes.
What about, so a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people just like you Sbu, we know you. Like, we're even tired of you. Just, we want,
Yes.
we are here for the guests, not for you.
Yes.
So give them a chance to speak. So I want people to understand that that's what this platform is for. For other reasons, yes, we will, and other people will create, or there are already other existing platforms for that reason, right?
Sure. I also want Gray to feel free because he's been here before. Unlike typical guests, if he wants to interrupt, if he wants to put on a jersey, ngoba kuyabandanyana, please feel free. Other guests, it's the first time when
Right.
we've been intercoursing together, so we're good. My next question to you, Gray, would you say, and maybe this now leads into crypto in detail, would you say that crypto has saved your life? And
Oh, yeah,
if the answer
absolutely.
is yes, in what way for people that have never maybe heard of you before?
Okay, look, the number one thing is money, I didn't had anything before crypto. I was like, well, if you had to look at it from a statistical point of view, right? How the system looks at you, they look at where you're coming from, what's your background, who is your family, and so on and so forth, and what's your education. If you take my profile and put it on paper, it wouldn't match the type of life that I live or my net worth at all, because I didn't come from a rich family, never inherited anything. I never been to college, not even once. I'm not like a genius or some kind of thing. So
That's debatable, but okay.
And then I come from Malawi as well, one of the poorest countries on the planet.
Yeah.
So just by that profile, if you had to give it to a statistician, they would say, this guy is more likely to end up like in the middle of Johannesburg, picking pockets and stuff like that. But that's not what happened, because I came across crypto and it freed me tremendously, right? Gave me a lot of opportunities, made money, built companies, and now we're here.
I wanna interrogate this genius thing. One of the coolest things about the three of us.
Yeah.
So I guess me and Sbu have been exposed, but maybe less you people that haven't been on your channel. We're huge addicts of information and knowledge, constantly devouring YouTube content, reading books. You speak about statisticians, even though you didn't go to college. You've traveled the world. The conversations that we've had. Crypto saved your life from a money perspective. It's allowed you to have the tool to travel the world, meet people.
Yeah.
Where do you think your curious mind comes from? Because now that's something else, and it's something I've seen that is special in a lot of people that have become successful. How did you become so curious to even stumble upon a crypto?
Okay, so that's a very deep question. It's a good one.
Because that might say that you're actually a genius.
So, when I was very young, I was always curious about stuff. So to give you perspective, I've always been interested in stuff. I started, I learned how to read when I was like very, very young. I was in school already when I was like 3 years old. That's when I started with Standard 1, right? I was done when I was 16. So throughout my life, I was curious about so many things that even to this day, if I revisit them, I end up with the same conclusion. So that was a way of life, philosophy.
That was you, not family.
Me.
Okay.
And religion. I had a lot of questions about religion when I was really, really young, maybe 5 to 7 years old. The same ideas that I had at the time, I still hold them today. And I always believed in, or the way of learning for me has always been like, if I want to learn something, I just pick it up, go and do it, right? So, throughout, I never really seen the reason to go to school, even though I went to primary school and high school. I was failing at it because it just wasn't my thing.
It wasn't stimulating you.
It wasn't stimulating. I'm used to just doing things. So, throughout my childhood, I did a lot of things. I taught myself how to code. I taught myself how to edit videos, be creative, make music. But I've always been interested in definitely how things work, to put it in simple context. So I'm just like into functionality, engineering, personal projects and things like that.
Solving problems.
Solving problems, exactly, yeah. So, I want to fix everything that's in front of me.
That's beautiful.
Exactly.
I don't want to speak about your life after crypto saved it.
Yeah.
I want to speak before.
Yeah.
Have you found any other opportunities that almost came close to crypto? Maybe property, maybe a beverage company that you may have potentially gone into where you could be like, More Fire saved my life. Ekasi Noble Property saved my life. Did you find any of those? I'm asking in particular because some kids might never get into crypto, but it would be nice for them to know that something else might save my life.
Oh yeah, computers for me were it, because I never gone to college, so I had never had a concept of like, you're gonna go to a job that pays you a lot and then you get promoted. Like that journey for me is out of the window to this day. I could never do it anyway. So I knew that I liked computers, but then my parents could not afford them. But I have seen computers as this thing where when you see it in front of it, you're like connected to a whole world of opportunities. You can become a music producer with one tool, right?
Yeah.
You can become a film editor. You can become a writer. You can become a trader. You can write code. So to me, that was it. I was like, as long as I have a computer, I can always find something to do. So that's how I looked.
When were you exposed to computers for the first time? And the internet?
I was exposed maybe when I was 12, 13. Someone on my street had it. And then I would go there and pay him to just use it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And so just to play music. And this guy was showing me these texts that he was manipulating in Photoshop and stuff like that. So, I was just like, man, if I can only just ever get my hands on this thing, it's going to be crazy. I would try to do all these things that I do. So when I was 16, my mother was here in South Africa and she bought me one computer, sent it over to me. And since the day I received it, I pretty much disconnected with everybody. I was just like all day indoors learning how to do shit. That was it.
You're still a computer nerd even now.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a beautiful story. I'm not going to go into detail. Ashish Thakkar, one of the wealthiest, he was the wealthiest guy in Africa. At age 31, he was a dollar billionaire. I'm not sure if he's from Uganda or where he's from. His parents took him, it may have been to the Middle East when he was 15, bought him a computer, took it back home. It was the first time people had seen this thing. And people asked him to buy it for them. And he asked his parents if he could go back. He came back, and he quit school from there. Started selling computers, and today he's still one of the wealthiest Africans. He built a company called Mara, and they were manufacturing, or they're supposed to be manufacturing phones in South Africa. Just speaking on the power of computers, I mean, Elon Musk and them were creating apps in their early teens. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg were coding early.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story to tell kids, guys, the computer, the internet, we'll call this a computer as well.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
Maybe just to mention, he was one of the youngest billionaires.
Yeah.
I remember at some point a couple of years ago, one of Tanzania's biggest, or let me say youngest billionaires, was also I think he was kidnapped at some point.
Mo Doji.
Oh, you do know about Mo?
Yeah.
And shout out to Mo. At some point, he was trying to sue us.
Shout out to Mo. He was trying to sue us.
Trying to get into Tanzania with our brother Ali Kiba's collaboration with Mo Fire because of the Mo name, right? Because that's his brand.
They've got their own beverage.
Yeah, and understandably so.
Right.
And big up to him. But anyway, I was just mentioning that I am aware of the brother and the Mara group. We have done some social responsibility work with them. And I'm just basically co-signing what Penuel is saying, that is it Ashish?
Ashish
right?
Thakkar, yeah.
He's an incredible businessman. I've been really blessed to have been in conversations where we are partnering and we're doing some social responsibility work. So I do know that group is highly involved in a lot of social responsibility initiatives in South Africa. I just hope that obviously it's for Martin.
Noble?
Yeah,
Ekasi Noble.
Well, I know it is
reasons.
for noble causes, but I just hope it would go mampela.
The thing is, Sisem Kuku in Sbuda, so I'll say it because you can't say it. Some of these business people, whether they're local, continental, global, some of them come into your country's CSI, number one, to avoid tax in certain ways. Number two, to find ways to, behind the door, bribe certain politicians for certain favors. We're not by any means saying that he was involved in that, but to your question of you hope all of these things are done for noble reasons. I know for a fact there are many articles around the world of people that do supposed charity work for their own capitalist, greedy reasons and not really to uplift and from the heart. So,
And thank you for saying that, yeah.
yeah.
And doing it under the disguise of social responsibility.
No, of course,
yeah.
of course.
But I mean, he seems like a really incredible guy, and it's always nice to have young African billionaires.
Of course.
Because they inspire
Dollar billionaire.
millions of
So in one of our early episodes of the Virtual Mkuku, and then after watching some of Gray's content, I was like, while listening to you, I've been a critic of crypto for the longest time. I traded Forex at some point. I've never traded cryptos, done a bit of research. But the conversation we had was, there are people that run the world. They came here at some point when we treated land in a certain way. And they came and they privatized land. Now you need a title deed to get land. They came and they introduced the money system to us so that we were no longer bartering. And those same people might be the ones that get to decide, do we use blockchain technology? Do we go use cryptos? And if we are not learning these things, we will get left behind. And the day they switch off fiat currencies and they decide we're now going crypto fully, we're going to get left behind. So I said, I'm willing to now begin learning about cryptos. If it's not to trade, if it's not to own any currencies, just so that I'm ahead of the curve. So I think from that premise, for you, Gray, this is your now chance to pitch to me. Why must I not only learn about crypto and blockchain? Why must I trade? Why must I get coins? Why is it so fundamentally important? And this is where I think I'm hopefully going to start with the grilling. For both of you, by the way, because you're both crypto fundis.
Okay, because it's for both of us, my answer will be quick, then I'll give it to him.
Sure.
Because the future is not only about the buying and selling of coins, because crypto is not only about the buying and selling of coins. It's literally about our future, all of us. The same way back in the day, I don't think a lot of people back then, especially who are older, thought there'll be social media built on top of the internet. They never thought we'll be living in this world that we're living on. A lot of people actually live off of 5 apps. Every day they wake up in the morning, they spend their lives on 5 apps.
Yeah.
Every day. And there's a majority of people who are watching right now. Little do we know that, like 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, people who are older.
Would have never dreamt of it.
I've just been, with the research that I've done, with a lot of information that I've gotten from cryptouniversity.co.za, and just, finding information from all over the world and from other crypto enthusiasts, is I've started understanding whether I like it or not. This is how the future of the world will be like. It's not just about the buying and selling of coins, but just the entire infrastructure on how the future of the world will operate will be on the blockchain technology. That's my answer.
But what makes you say that? Because my question is, who makes those decisions? That we're going to have a constitution, that we're going to use Roman Dutch law, that we're going to use the rand, that we're going to use Bitcoin. Who decides that? Because you're saying this is the future. And I'm saying, how do you know it will... Who have you seen in the decision makers of the world?
As I've already just said, that over 80% of the people that are watching right now, a lot of you guys live on 5 apps a day. Whatever apps they might be social media apps, might be training apps, might be food apps, or food buying apps, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But you are literally living your life at least on 5 apps daily, whether you like it or not. So it's something that you are forced to, whether you like it or not. So in the beginning as well, I was one of those people who thought cryptocurrency is all about money. It's all about Bitcoin. It's all about just the buying of stuff. But the more my information started growing, that actually the world that we are going towards and the world that we are already in, actually, it's not even in the future, it's now, is that, as I was just saying, we're already living on 5 apps. You're already virtual, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So now they're taking it to another level where developers, engineers, and these tech geeks and all these people, some people have been asking for years, like, will it be possible for the future that we vote without having to go and stand on queues? Blockchain technology will allow that to be possible. Will it be ever possible that things are so transparent that we really, really trust, that goes to who it deserves? That will be available or possible because of smart contracts in the future that is currently being built on the blockchain technology, etc., etc., etc. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, thank you, Spura.
Okay, so that's a very good place already that Spoo has explained it. But so what do you think about people who don't know how to use the internet right now?
They are chimpanzees. That's why I said you guys must throw me in the zoo if you don't convince me today.
Okay, so
I believe they are primitive people. We spoke about the chimp, Elon Musk, and that some of us have moved and we're closer to, well, we'll call it Elon Musk robot. Some of us have moved along the way. Some people, there are people that are still bartering to this day that don't use money.
Right.
That still have to catch an animal to make clothing with leather. So to me, people that aren't connected to the internet are chimpanzees.
Yeah, so I mean, it adds up to the same people who are not connected to the internet are the same people that are confined to whatever the unemployment rate is, because they have no chance to even break it through. So at the beginning of the podcast, we talked about how traveling helps you and things like that, how to be a global citizen, right? Well, it's expensive to be a global citizen.
Yeah, it is.
But the cheapest way you can do it is through the internet, right? Why the internet break borders? So if we're sending a WhatsApp to someone in Zimbabwe and Nigeria, we don't have to get a passport for it.
Yes.
We just interact like they're here with us.
Even video call.
Even video call, right? There's no limits. Whereas before, they were scamming us, say, oh, this is an international call, you need to pay extra.
100%.
So for you to call someone in the neighboring country, you had to spend 10 times the amount of money. The internet removed that. So crypto is the same. It's like the passport of money. When I'm into Bitcoin, I don't give a damn which country I'm at right now, because it's more needed and it has a lot more liquidity than the rand. So if I just go into I was in London 2 days ago, there, nobody wants the rand, but somebody wants the Bitcoin for sure. So it can be any other currency you can put it. So on the bigger question that you ask, like, okay, who makes those decisions to say this is the future? There is no government that sat down and say, the future is now going to be social media and the internet. You will see that with the development of technology more power is being stripped out of governments anyway. Because just a few years ago, for us to have this platform where thousands of people are watching us, we had to get a TV license.
Yes.
A process that we might get, we might not get, depending on the political environment.
Yes.
Right now, we just pick up a camera, go on YouTube, we're live, we're gone.
And it's an expensive process.
It's an expensive, it used to be an expensive process. Right now, it's cheap, everybody can do it. So you can see that even though there is power and control, that power is being limited and going into different areas of the economy and people. So right now, I do believe that most tech giants and founders are actually more powerful than governments. Facebook, for example.
It's bigger than any country on the planet, I think.
And it's actually...
In terms of users.
Exactly.
I think it's got like over 2 billion.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is a big G to me than a president of a country who might get removed in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? Because you cannot fire Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes.
You know, he will be here with this administration, with the next one, and on and on. So Bitcoin and Bitcoin specifically as a cryptocurrency, just so that you know, it was created as a political it is a political movement of people who there is this community of people on the internet called the cypherpunks. Cypherpunks.
Cypherpunks.
Yes.
Okay.
These
Like the
are
Afro-punk,
Okay.
Exactly.
but with an S.
Exactly. These are people who sort of don't agree with how the world works. They think it's unfair, which is true.
Yeah.
And they see that a lot of areas of the economy has been somewhat disrupted, right? Like technology itself has been. But the hardest one to disrupt has been money,
Yes.
right? Money is hard and money controls everything. Why can the US just decide that, oh, let's go to war with this country and put $1 trillion on weapons? Where do they get that money? They can just press a button,
They
print the money, get the soldiers on, and they'll go to war. Now, imagine if money was not something where you can just print at will. Imagine if it was something where you actually have to put in the work to create it. Now, there's gold as an example of that. However, gold, as much, I know so many people out there, they praise gold. Like, oh, gold is amazing. But gold is actually a violent form of money.
No,
If
it's
you
not.
think about it. It
But
is.
anyway, I'll explain later.
I'll explain it to you why. South Africa has gold.
Yes.
Nigeria doesn't. The US maybe doesn't have a lot of it.
Yes.
Somewhat, in the distribution of nature, we don't have equal things. And then we have created these things called countries and nation states.
Yes.
But what happens when South Africa has gold, someone else does not have it? For me to have some gold, I either have to make a deal with South Africa or I have to fight with them to steal it away from them. Okay. This is where colonialism starts from. All slavery starts from someone having and the other one not having.
For me, it brings in that
fully hear what you're
conversation
saying.
of Gaddafi
Yes.
and why he was killed as well.
Sure.
With the gold reserves.
Yes.
And with the idea of wanting to, you know, for lack of a better word, new Africanize.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
To unite African.
unite Africans
into one
but
Africa.
based on existing commodities as opposed to just numbers. on the
So you agree then that
Or you agree with him that it's a violent.
it's a violent form of
I wouldn't
money.
say violent. I didn't say violent.
You said you don't agree with the violent. You
Yeah.
said it's a violent. You agree with that?
Yeah, it's people that make it a violent.
No, but it's
commodity.
unequal though. It's unequal because
It's unequal, but
all
it's
of
not
us-
violent. It's the people that make it violent.
But that applies to everything.
You see, we have it.
But that applies to
Yeah, you-
everything.
We have it. We never fought wars. We never killed people. We have
Whoa.
it.
That's
So if you
debatable.
want
That's
what I have, it's you who's coming with the war. It's not the gold. It's not us. We're peaceful.
But
We
you can
have
say that about everything, a gun, a knife. The bottom line is he's got the cows, we want meat. And we're saying cows are the currency.
Yeah, but
and
you can't
he's
say
saying,
the cows are violent.
so I don't think he was saying the gold in itself. If you hold it, you start bleeding. I think he was trying to say that it elicits
Yes.
violence.
I totally understand that,
Sure.
but I want us to, as much as we are saying that, we mustn't make it seem that gold is so bad that it's violent. It's the people that make, or let me say, the elite, that it works towards
Well,
their
but
interests,
look,
right?
it's human nature. The thing is, as long as we have something that some people have and others don't, and it's
Gas,
valuable,
oil,
everything.
sunflower.
Look at all the wealthy countries with natural resources. Look at what happens to Congo,
Yeah.
to the DRC.
But it doesn't mean that there has to be violence.
Of
there
course.
probably could have been another way in how the world would have become or the world would have been.
Yes.
We won't agree on this.
Okay, anyway, it's a conversation for another day. Sorry, brother.
I've got a million questions from everything
Go
you just
in, bro.
said.
Go in,
Let me
bro.
just complete on this cypherpunks thing. So
Sure.
they looked at gold. They said, okay, gold is good, but then what don't we create something that has equal distribution, where whether you're an African or Asian or wherever you are, you have the same access of getting a piece of this thing from the beginning, and it has rules that are governed by everybody. Because again, we're looking at distribution that is non-violent. And it also has to be something that is not confiscatable.
Yeah.
Gold is something that you can go and break someone's house and get it easily. Bank accounts, banks can freeze your money.
Yeah.
So cypherpunks created this thing, put it out, called Bitcoin, but they never reveal who created it. It's a common good like the internet. It's like a virus. You create it, you throw it in the world, and then people have to deal with it. Now, if it was created in a way where we know who created it, they would have just come to, let's say Buddha created it, they would have come to him, knock into his door, threaten him, and shut it down. The US literally hired the CIA, put a team together to shut down Bitcoin, but they couldn't. Why? It's all over the place. You might shut it down on my computer, but it's still on your computer, and on and on. And then that's how this whole cryptocurrency thing came, is literally to give power to the people.
And not everybody lives in the US.
Exactly. Yeah.
You said I can go in.
Yeah, go in, bro.
Must I go in hard?
Harder.
Or semi?
Harder.
Go hard.
Let me start soft. I like the fact that you spoke about blockchain technology. And you mentioning Crypto University. And it just triggered to me because you said it's more than coins. The Crypto University in particular, is it cryptocurrencies or is it just cryptography as an entire discipline? Are you guys planning to go beyond currencies and go into the technology of blockchain and how other people... So let's say I'm a politician and it's like, I'm not interested in Bitcoin. You're like, no, join the Crypto University because we can teach you how to ensure that elections are free and fair, and we can introduce you to a technology that'll help people vote better. Are you guys looking to do something like that, or are you only isolated to currencies?
Good question.
Yeah, so first thing, here's the thing, right? I understand the framing of your question is of saying that, look, there's too much trading and money and investing and coins, but there is a bigger picture, which is blockchain, and for a politician, he might want to understand that and all that, right? The honest answer is that Bitcoin doesn't care, really. Whether a politician is going to sign on and try to learn it.
No, Gray, I'm not asking about money. I'm asking about Crypto University.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys only focused on currencies, or are you planning to teach cryptography and its applications in various...
Okay, so crypto, obviously the crypto word is coming from cryptography, like you said. We teach everything Web3. Web3 is this all decentralized economies, right? So
No, what does that mean?
Web3 is...
Explain it using, if you can, an analogy that is maybe more common to me.
Web 1 was the internet when it came out. You only could type,
Okay.
right? There was no images on the computer. It was literally just words.
Just text.
And just text, right?
Okay.
And then you could click something and read it. And then Web 2 came through. It was more like you had images. Now the internet was looking a little bit more fancy.
Sure.
Which is
Videos?
Yeah, videos.
That's Web 2.
Facebook actually is part of Web 2 as well, right?
Okay.
Because we have, you can interact with the platforms. You press and it reacts and all that. Web 3 is now a decentralized economy. It's a creator economy. It has a token model attached to it. That's why you have so many cryptocurrencies. It's NFTs, it's crypto, it's blockchain. Where
I don't know what that means. So I hear Web 1, we were just text. Web 2, now you're adding pictures and video.
Yes.
Web 3, what are you adding?
Web 3, you can now own everything that you contribute to the internet. Like, I can create a song, put it online, and that song is an NFT, and I have ownership.
Sure.
And in Web 3, you need a wallet. You need like something called MetaMask. You don't even need to sign up for things in Web 3. You use your wallet as an identifier for everything. So imagine you logging into how it works in Web 2. You need to log on to Facebook, you create a Facebook account.
So
you
let
need
me
to
put
log
it
on
this
to
way.
Google.
In the old world, the identifier for everything was the email address.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now in the new way, as we're moving, is there MetaMask?
Yes.
Or equivalent.
Yes.
Maybe if I
Meta?
ask somebody else, MetaMask.
MetaMask.
Yeah, META, Meta.
Jeez.
Mask.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm
MetaMask
far behind.
It's like your email address, but it doesn't reveal any of your information. It's just a long number.
Yeah.
So if I'm logging into my bank account, for example, ABSA, I will log in with the same wallet.
It's like an ID number.
It's an ID, exactly. But you log on to everything. So if I want to open an account with FNB, I don't have to create a new profile in FNB. I use the same account that I have. It has no name, nothing, just a long ID number.
Yeah.
Then I use it for everything.
And you're saying the crypto university is going to be teaching
Yes.
everything Web3, including cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology,
Yes.
etc.
If you want to learn how to code on crypto as well, to write smart contracts, you go to Crypto University and learn. We have free courses there. We have paid courses. If you want to learn how to invest and become a grand investor, you can do it. If you want to trade, you can do it. If you want to learn about NFTs and gaming, you can also do it. So we
Yeah.
have everything there.
So this is where I start having problems, right? You guys spoke about gold. You spoke about unfair distribution.
Yes.
And you speak about cypherpunks and how they came to free the new world and the people that have been oppressed. Immediately having studied a lot of history, my first thought is this just looks like a shift of power and wealth.
Yes.
So the people that had gold, other people had to fight, kill, slavery. Now you're telling me there's cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, whatever. And to me already, we're struggling with electricity. It's people that don't know how to use the internet. So it just seems like some people were sour that they couldn't get gold, silver, whatever. And they're like, let's create our own currency. It's going to be on the internet and it's going to make us super rich because realistically, there's only a few crypto billionaires, multimillionaires, and still the masses are still poor. And to what you're saying, people are fighting for gold. There's currently struggles, whether it's between you guys and governments. There are struggles for the same wealth. Is that not what's happening?
No, not at all. So
How does my grandmother, who couldn't get gold, who doesn't have access to fiat money,
Yes.
how does crypto help her in any way if she also doesn't have internet? How does it become a game changer for her?
Okay, look, so it's not a solution for everything. But the difference, however, is that do you know how hard it is for you to get gold, to buy it? So
I can imagine.
in a country like this where you actually have the gold,
Yeah.
do you own any gold?
No,
Have you ever touched a piece of it?
probably.
Probably. Okay, not many people though.
Yeah.
Like I have never touched gold, until 3 years ago. And imagine, I'm African,
Yeah.
where the gold is coming from.
Yeah.
So as much as we talk about gold, it's this inaccessible thing to most people. Whereas with crypto, yeah, you can literally, if your grandmother has a phone and an internet connection, these are the only requirements. She can sign up she can get a wallet on her phone, buy cryptocurrency, and the same process.
Buy it with what?
Buy it with fiat money, brand or whatever currency she want to use,
Which at some point was gold backed.
which at some point was gold backed at some point.
But isn't that the same line? Because that's been my other issue with cryptocurrencies in particular, that they currently still, if you're not mining it,
Yes.
which is another thing now which causes inequality, and you need to have supercomputers, etc., to mine it, which now goes back to you need resources.
No,
and then the
look,
second
You don't
thing
need
is
supercomputers, by the way.
No,
Okay.
but-
Anybody mines Bitcoin.
okay.
Everybody mines Bitcoin.
We'll
You
speak
can
about
decide
we'll
to-
speak about the
You
mining.
can start tomorrow. You can start tonight.
Sure. We'll speak about the mining. My question is, if you still have to buy cryptos with the same money that we're trying to
Yes.
run away from, then
Yes.
it kind of seems counterintuitive
No,
to me.
it's not. So I took all my money, I sold my car and all that, I put it into Bitcoin years ago. That money is worth a lot more. So look at it, it's just an asset, right? So I'm running away from one asset class to another. That
Like
is
buying an
better.
artwork.
That is appreciating over time. It's just a better form of money. It's like, well, the rand, maybe it might decline. It has been on the decline for a long time. To the dollar now, it's like $17 or something, right? Now, are you going to choose to keep the rand or gold or Bitcoin? Which one is better money? For me, I would put it in Bitcoin because all the Bitcoin that I bought years ago are worth, when I was buying Bitcoins at first, one Bitcoin could buy me a pair of shoes. Today, one Bitcoin can buy me a house.
A few months ago, one Bitcoin in South African rands was $1 million, bro.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. So it's just a form of, it's a store of value. And you decide which vehicle are you going to use to store your money. And to most people, they think like, look, if you have money, rich people have these problems where they have too much money. You have to decide where are you going to keep it because actually inflation matters to you, right?
Yes. Inflation is a smart way of stealing other people's money.
Interest rates matters to you. Whereas for people who don't have money, don't always think about these things. However, you have to be thinking about them. The reason why they don't is because they don't have so many options of how are they going to store their value. If you have 10,000 Rand, your only way is to just keep it in the bank and then it's safe. That's what you're told, right? You don't know about stocks. You have no access to buying the top stocks in the world, Amazon, Facebook, and all that. Whereas with crypto, you now have an asset class that is available to every citizen today without any friction at all. So that is the difference.
Sure. Spuda, you're saying anyone can mine. My understanding of mining cryptos was you need to have supercomputers that chow a lot of electricity.
It's not supercomputers, but yes, it does chow a lot of electricity. But I don't want people to also hear such words and be scared, because our other business partner, Ms. Desiree Thomas, whom I've been doing business with over the past couple of years, started, which is now have become the biggest crypto mining group in South Africa.
Jeez.
She started it, but that group got taken over, because I'm sure even Gray, he started something that other people can participate in, they take it over.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be there. You don't even have to be there once a month. You can even be there just twice a year, even 5 times a year. But anyway, that's what she decided to do. And then she unwillingly, or maybe it was willingly, formed a crypto mining South African community that talks about cards, technology, this machine there, buy this machine, this is available. There's always just updated posts daily on an ongoing platform where they started with a WhatsApp group, but now they're on other platforms. But my point here is anybody can mine crypto. A lot of people are mining Bitcoin.
Yeah.
A lot of people are spending a certain amount of money. All along we've been thinking, mining is for certain people, it's for billionaires. It's for, I can never get into mining. I never went to school. I don't understand mining, metallurgy, geology, and I don't understand business. I don't even have connections in government or this mining. I know nothing about mining. But Bitcoin, or let me say cryptocurrency or the blockchain technology, has afforded people to have that decentralized mining opportunity of cryptocurrencies, where you can buy a machine, find out information on how it mines, what is needed to keep it going, maintaining it monthly, and then you can buy it for this amount of money, get those people to do a plug and play for you, and then you can put it up in your garage. Or you can put it up somewhere in some servers or whatever place it is, and then it makes you a certain fraction of a percentage of money that you've spent for this machine. But it's mining Bitcoin, because you need to remember as well that there'll only ever be 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be mined, ever. And apparently, I don't know, apparently, there's now over 18 million Bitcoin that has been mined so far where we are. And there's people, forget NFTs, forget pay for play, forget buying and selling of coins, forget the metaverse, Web 3.0, all these different things, forget about them. It's just consistently daily miners that are mining Bitcoin on a daily basis and making money out of it and making money for themselves. Some of them either build the machines or the computers. Some of them, they've got existing relationships with other people that offer them that card or that technology. It's just a community of people, right? And there's just others who they just come in and they've got the money to, and they just buy maybe 10 machines. How do they make me money, these 10 machines, out of this investment of buying this machine? Desiree, we had it the other day. We were talking on our Learn Crypto episode at Newtown at M Studios on the Learn Crypto event. And I was asking her, like, how much minimum of amount of money that I would need to at least buy Bitcoin, to buy a mining machine. By the way, the mining is not only the mining of Bitcoin, can be mining of Ethereum as well, etc. So I was asking her, what is the amount of money that I would need to buy at least a mining machine? And how much can that mining machine make me at least per month? And then she shared those figures. And she shared figures from around 50 to about 100,000 that you can spend to buy this machine if it's already well and done, etc. But she did emphasize that no, you don't necessarily have to buy a complete machine because the prices differ. Somebody else can charge you 50K, somebody can charge you 120K, somebody can charge you 200K. But it doesn't mean the person that's charging you 200K is expensive. It means maybe it's got more functionalities, or maybe it's more better quality than the 50,000 rands machine. But basically the point was you can build a machine as opposed to just buying it as is. But knowing people with money, we are investors. You don't you don't want to be, getting yourself into that cryptocurrency knowledge. Maybe you don't have time. Maybe your passion is in other things. Maybe you are running whatever business that you're running. Yeah. You just want to know, how much can I buy this machine for? It's like property. How much can it make me a month?
Yeah.
What does it take to maintain it? How many people can I employ to look after it? How much electricity does it require every month? Okay, cool. Then I can buy it. Or maybe let me buy 10 of it, because this is the amount of money that it's going to make me. But will it continuously, is the climate or the cryptocurrency ecosystem going to allow me to continuously make that amount of money with that type of machine, with that type of a technology and hardware and software for this period of time, for how long period of time that this machine is going to be able to churn out, those types of returns? So there is never really a one answer, but there's also never really a one way of, this is property, you buy it, this is how much it puts out every month based on the market. You have to engulf yourself in the knowledge. And what I'm saying here also is, I don't want people to think we've got all the answers and that's how it is, because the blockchain technology space and the cryptocurrency world or ecosystem keeps on evolving every day. What he may give an answer to today might have changed exactly 30 days from today.
Isn't that dangerous?
It is dangerous. That's why we consistently say it is.
Yeah.
Because it's as you were saying, risk. From the risk
If you get left behind from the evolution.
From the risk perspective, it is. For somebody who looks at it that way. But for us, it's not, as he's already said. For me, it's also not, because I'm looking at it from 10 years from today. I'm looking for 20 years from today. Same way as, when you create all these things. It's not like I have to make money next year. I have to be rich in 3 years. It's a future that I'm creating, that I'm investing into. It's the same thing with crypto, where it's like gym. We're going to the gym. It's not just, I'm going to the gym so I can lose weight, so I can go to Penuel's wedding in September. I can go to whoever's wedding in November. It has to be a lifestyle. It has to be something that you live. And
that's what I'm saying. If it's not a lifestyle, you get fat.
You get
left behind.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you have to be a student and plugged into the evolution.
But look,
otherwise you get left behind.
I totally agree.
The internet also, it's like, it's a lifestyle anyway. Yeah. So it's not like people quit their job just to do the internet.
I agree.
You incorporate it in your everyday life. So on mining, just to clarify, this is what makes crypto even cool, right? So it started in 2019. On the first block.
What started in 2019?
In 2009.
Oh, okay.
Bitcoin.
Okay.
The first block, you were getting 50 Bitcoins per block when you mined.
Sorry, Mr. G. The last time I did this on a podcast, people were very mad at me.
Yeah.
But I'm really pressed. I have to go to the loo, guys. They'll continue the convo. I'll come back, but it shouldn't stop. Because for me, I always believe the show doesn't stop. Let's continue.
Sure. Okay, cool. So when you mine a block of Bitcoin, you were receiving 50 Bitcoins.
Yeah.
And at the time when it got started, you could mine it on your laptop easily because the network was very small. The good thing about it, however, is that anyone, anywhere in Limpopo can just plug in their computer and start mining and make money.
Yeah.
Now, compare this to traditional mining. It's always the guys from overseas, they come here, they get the deals from the government, they make deals and then machines.
But that's not really true.
It is.
So when Usbu was saying you can mine Bitcoin from your phone,
yes,
I thought he was gonna, the Zamazamas. I don't know if you know the Zamazamas. There's this term now for people that are going to try their luck in closed mining shafts in South Africa. There's a story about them, illegal foreigners, rape, killing, etc.
Right.
Before the colonialists came in and before the big mining companies came in, Africans in particular could mine with very basic tools. To what you're saying about a laptop, we could use basic tools because the gold and other minerals were very close to the surface.
Yes.
And then as time went on, it became more complicated. And I'm listening to you saying you could mine with a laptop because there was a small network, which sounds to me like when people could mine gold easily.
Yeah.
But it seems as the network and the exposure has gotten bigger, it's become more complicated.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Which tells me that if you're saying mining is difficult and this is not, it seems like the same trajectory to me.
It's not, because, again, with Bitcoin mining, anybody can do it. If you have the resources and the means to do it, you plug into the network and start it. Yeah. You don't need to apply for anything and wait for approval. There is no corruption in Bitcoin. You understand?
I won't say anything to that. I'll say, okay.
Yeah, because look, if I can mine, you can mine. There is no Bitcoin company that approves or disapproves who's mining.
Okay.
However, if you try to corrupt the system itself actually wins you out and you don't earn money at all. The system itself,
Which system?
the Bitcoin network, it has rules. So if you, let's say,
I want to speak about it afterwards.
if you set up your own mining rig
Yeah.
and you try to gamify it so that it's cheating, the system has a way to disincentivize you to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's people.
It's a rule. So
No,
that's
I'm asking, is that people? When you say the system, are you talking about people with their computers?
No. It's just the rules that were written in the Bitcoin protocol itself.
Yeah. But who picks that up is what I'm asking. If I'm trying to
No,
corrupt
the
the system,
itself. It already has the rules. If you do anything that is not aligned with the rules,
Yeah.
you get kicked out. Nobody
it's
has
like,
to enforce
is it like an algorithm? It's not
algorithm.
people.
It's rules. Imagine the law, right?
It's like me trying to log in and I put the wrong password and it doesn't let me in.
Exactly.
Okay, I hear you.
And if you get your password wrong 3 times, let's say your PIN on your card,
Yeah.
it blocks it away, right?
I hear you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Bitcoin or crypto largely is controlled by rules, transparency, and honesty.
Yeah.
If you do this, this happen. If you do this, this happen. And there's nobody who you're gonna knock the door to fix it for you or to bribe someone just to override a rule. There's no such a thing.
Why do you think, I wanted to ask, it's true that only a few people are billionaires from crypto. But I wanted to ask, is this question losing me? Why do you think the banks, big banks, why do you think governments around the world, why do you think they've warmed up to cryptocurrencies, whereas they were very resistant before? Why do you think they didn't shut it down? Because I've got my own conspiracy theory that it's because they found a way to win from the system.
Well, the only reason the government could not shut it down is because they can't technically.
Okay.
That's Bitcoin, you can't stop it. It's a network of distributed computers. And China has banned cryptocurrency before. India has done it before. Russia has done it before they do it. But America itself has banned some activities before. But you can't really shut down the network itself. Just like in Zimbabwe, when they had some issues at some point and the government shut down the internet.
Yeah.
Right? But they didn't shut down the world internet. They shut down their own internet. Still, people could find other ways to access things anyway, right? So Bitcoin works the same way. As to why they're going towards it, it's just like Spoo was saying, that you can't run away from it. It's there, you have to deal with it. Now,
Because I know they're trying to regulate it now in South Africa,
exactly, but
which is going to take away from the whole beauty of the platform.
Well, the thing is, it depends what you mean by regulated. So regulators, they write laws of how something should be treated, right? However, whether you're going to enforce these rules is a whole different story.
Yeah.
They think that if they just say A, B, and C, then things should happen. It's very difficult to enforce these rules on an unregulated network by nature. So I think the best way to regulate it will be with technology itself. Otherwise, you're relying only on people to comply, which takes me to the next level of the Bitcoin conversation. I do think that governments will change in the future.
Okay.
If right now you can control people through money and banks. If you're a rich guy, or the way you are right now, if you do something that the government doesn't like, they're just going to freeze your account.
True.
What happens when they can't do it? You have crypto, you have a Bitcoin wallet, they don't know how to access it, they don't even know how much money you have. The only way they can take it away from you is to play fair. This is where I think the world is going to go.
Okay.
People will have money that themselves can control, and you as a government, you have to give them a better service for them to comply and to give you what you need. Otherwise, you can't just take money by force anymore.
Spoo said 21 million Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What happens if 5 people own 10 million Bitcoin? Isn't that similar to what we have now with 60 people having half of the world's wealth?
Look, Bitcoin again. It's a transparent network. You can see how many people or how many wallets are out there who owns Bitcoin. So it cannot be only 10 people. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands who owns, millions of people actually who owns Bitcoin already. And if a distribution changes and it gets to, for example, right now we know how many people owns the highest amount of Bitcoin.
Okay.
The creator himself, he owns 1 million.
Okay.
That wallet is publicly available. You can see it. If the funds ever move from that wallet and being transferred somewhere else, we're all going to know.
Yeah.
Right? And then there are other people who owns also a lot of crypto. But it's not the same as what's happening right now because it's an open protocol. And if it becomes too corrupt, people are just going to check out. So if you say that, oh, we learned that Bitcoin is now owned by only 5 people over there, we can just fork it and say, these coins, we're making them now. Us, as the people, we're forking it into a new network that is more fair.
You're saying it's possible for people in the network to almost not recognize the 5 people that own.
Yes, that chain, we can say that, okay.
Who are these people that do that?
Us.
Who's us?
The people who use Bitcoin and the people who mine.
The reason I ask this is I am Jeff Bezos. I have the ability to go to Asia where people are really poor and set up a call center with 2 million people. And I put them all on computers to plug into the network. And I give them small pieces of cryptos each. Can't those people legitimize or delegitimize certain transactions and do what you're saying and nullify certain owners elsewhere?
So
that's a very good question, bro.
There are thousands of miners. So if you want to corrupt the Bitcoin network, this is what you have to do. There's a 51% rule. The network goes with what the 51% of the people say, just like the voting system may have. However, for you to corrupt it, you have to now sort of put together 51% of the miners. How are you going to do that? These are people distributed across the world. You're not going to.
But you flood the market with people that are in the network.
Okay, sure. Let's say
I'm asking basically if that is possible.
It is
as a form of corruption.
It is possible, but it's expensive because then, if you want to create a 51% attack, you need to invest a lot of money, billions of money, into Bitcoin mining.
Or violent, or you threaten people and start getting them to act in a certain way, or else they get hurt.
China already has done it. They say, no mining in Bitcoin. Boom, no problem. And the mining moves elsewhere. So I was in Dubai. A lot of when China shut down the mining
does China still allow mining?
Mining is still highly restricted. So what?
In China?
Yeah. What happened? Those miners sold their rigs to Dubai and other regions, and people are setting up mining rigs there. So it's just very difficult for you to corrupt thousands of people who are not in the same place. You don't even know them. There's no.
You don't think so? I mean, when you look at social media and how it's influenced people around the world, isn't that a form of corruption? With people that are not in the same geography?
This is more complicated because it has a financial layer attached to it. So
you have to be smart.
You have to be smart. Why? Because
that's exclusionary.
No, but here's the thing. No, I'm not saying in terms of using it. I'm saying so Bitcoin works because of its incentive model. Nobody forces anyone how to mine. The miners, they mine because they get the money from it. But then for those Bitcoins they make when they mine to be worth something, they have to be accepted in the market. So if you corrupt the system and then people lose trust in Bitcoin, the price of it goes down. So you don't want to be in a situation where you're mining coins, you're spending, let's say, $15,000 to mine a coin, and then these coins are worth $800. You lose money. It's a very expensive process at this point because of how many people are involved and the market cap of Bitcoin, which is almost, almost $1 trillion these days of crypto.
Why does the value of cryptocurrencies fluctuate?
Supply and demand. If more people are buying it, the price of it increases. Somewhat, but not exactly the same. Right? So it's almost like cattle. You don't have really a central regulating authority of how much they should be sold, right?
Okay.
So if you go in a village, and say, I want to buy 800 cows, and the village has only 6,000 of them, what's going to happen? You'll buy the first 10 at a relatively good price. The moment people realize that you're coming with a fleet of buy orders, they'll start increasing the price.
Who makes those decisions? Because the reason I was asking with shares, there's normally market analysts who send out information.
Which is very bad, by the way.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
Send out information. We think things are going to go bad. We don't know what's happening with Twitter. So if you're saying it's supply and demand, which you're saying the supply is limited to 21 million, who decides then that Bitcoin is $19,000 and today it's $3,000?
The market, just like anything else,
Who is the market is my question.
is me and you, whoever.
You decide on as yourself that it's not worth 19,000 anymore.
I can give you a good example. So you go in a marketplace, out in the streets, you want to buy Bitcoin. You meet a guy over there. He said, my Bitcoin, I'm selling it for 5,000 Rand for one. And you buy that. And you try to buy another one, he sells you for the same price. And you come again, and then you realize that this guy wants more. Next time I'm gonna sell it for 5,500. The price starts increasing, and then as many people start coming to buy, he start increasing the price because he can see that more people want to buy. And this is what happens if you go on a crypto exchange to buy a Bitcoin. You start putting in orders, and other people started to take or to give you what you need. The moment the buying pressure is increasing, people know, and then they start increasing the price. It's just normal market.
Isn't that like shares? That means those people can be influenced. The guy you're buying from in the street, he can be influenced to up the price. That I think this guy's gonna come back. Bump up the price. Doesn't that now corrupt the value?
No, just like there is no fixed price for anything really. Just like real estate, right?
Yeah.
The moment you start getting a lot of buy orders in one area, in that area, when you want to buy property, they literally show you that, okay, the last purchase in this area was 10 million,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Therefore, on average, we're expecting our sales to be from 10 million going up because in this area, that's what's been happening. So you're always looking at what was the last price that somebody paid for this.
Okay.
And then there you're either going to pay somewhat a little bit less or a little bit more. If the demand is higher, the price starts going up. If the demand is lower but there's more supply, and then people started to say, oh, I'm selling my Bitcoin for 10,000 Rand. Another guy say, oh, buy mine for 9,900.
Yeah.
The other one say, oh, buy mine for 9,500. The other one say, oh, 9,000. Then what's the price? If you're the buyer, you're definitely going to buy from the guy who's selling for 9K, right? And then prices starts going down because so many people are trying to sell. Their buyers are the bosses, just waiting for the best price.
What would it take for the world to switch off fiat and go into, let's say, for example, Bitcoin completely? And if that happens, because currently I believe Bitcoin, the value of it is in American dollars, what will the value then be determined on?
So at the beginning, Bitcoin was, let's say, less than $1.
Yeah.
As more people learn, the price keeps increasing because the demand increases.
Yeah.
And because the supply...
That's in American dollars.
In any
In any currency.
No, what I'm trying to say is the $1 to, let's say, $100, that's... You're linking a Bitcoin to an American dollar.
dollar, yes.
Yeah,
Sure.
but Bitcoin is not based on American currency.
No, I know. I'm trying to get his answer so that
Okay.
I can link it to
Yeah.
the second
So-
part of my question. What happens when you remove the dollar? What will it then be pegged to?
It will be pegged to whatever currency people are buying. So it's
Well,
in the
my
dollar
question
because
was,
of the...
what would it take for Bitcoin to be the currency? Let's say for the whole world. Scrap the rand, scrap the dollar, scrap the euro, scrap the yen. And we're saying we only want to use Bitcoin. What would it take for that
Honestly-
to happen? And number two, if we've removed all these other currencies now,
Yeah.
what will the value of the Bitcoin be linked to?
Look, Bitcoin is not going to be a currency for everybody as the first layer. And the reason is most people are sheep. They still ask, oh, but the government says this. They're waiting for someone else to tell them what to do. For that very reason, it's never going to be the currency that everybody uses because, politics have much more influence than... I think people are not very individualistic enough in society in general. That's why political parties exist. That's why countries exist. There's always a pecking order. Someone telling them what to do and they're just going to do it. So Bitcoin is a democratic thing that requires you to be proactive as a person. Feel empowered, find it, do it, and buy it and move on with your life. As an individual. It's something that empowers an individual. Whereas, like I said before, most people look at authority as the number one source of information and how they should live their life.
Yeah.
For that very reason, Bitcoin is never going to be the currency for everybody.
You don't think we can ever get to a point where we educate and empower individuals to make the choices to take away power from governments so that a Bitcoin becomes the only global currency?
My man,
You don't think that'll ever happen?
religion and politics are stronger than you think.
Stronger than money?
Stronger than money. People
Stronger
want
than
something
money.
to be stronger than money. I mean, why are only a few?
And because of those things, you will never have one global currency, whether it's fiat or gold or whatever.
Why are not many people rich? Why do you think is that? Because they look up for someone else to tell them what to do. That's the number one. You know, the people who act on their own personal interest are the ones who get rich. So I don't think it will become the global number one currency for everybody. It's just going to create a new elite of rich people, which is I'm going to be in that. Sbu is going to be in that. And
You're the first colonizers.
whatever
Digital
it is.
currency.
But the good thing is that it's open for everybody.
And I've also heard, sorry, go ahead.
It's not taking away from anyone. It's not colonizing everybody. It's just that if you are proactive and you do it, you're part of the new rich.
And I guess that's the reason why recently there's just been talks of there's potential for Ethereum to surpass Bitcoin over the next couple of months.
In terms of dollar value.
In terms of value.
Dollar value.
Value.
What do you mean by value?
Value.
Market cap.
Market cap, yeah.
In dollar
They're
numbers.
talking about the flipping. It's a very complicated
Is it in
thing
dollar
to
numbers?
happen. It can be in any currency you look at it.
It
No,
depends
I
on,
understand, but when it gets reported, will it be in dollar numbers?
depends who's reporting it.
So look, in crypto, we can deal without dollars at all. I can look at, sometimes I might refer as buying something for 0.1 Bitcoin. I don't have to care about dollars.
I can even talk about rands.
Now I'm
Yes.
asking, when you say Ethereum is going to surpass, what is that based on is what I'm asking.
Market
you.
cap.
Yes, what is that market cap based on? Is it
So,
not dollars?
It means there's more people that are.
No, there's an exchange between BTC and Ethereum directly. You don't need to attach dollars to it.
So it's going to be like the rand and the pula. And you're saying the pula is going to be worth more than the rand. Is that what you're saying?
The market
No,
cap. Yeah.
that's not what I'm saying. Because
Okay.
I don't want it to be like that. Because there's nobody who's walked this before. There's no blueprint. Things change as we go. That's why I always say to people, this cryptocurrency world flipping evolves every month.
Yeah.
If you unplug from it for a month, when you come back, it's not the same as you thought it was.
Yeah.
A lot of things have changed. There's been new developments. There's this information. That's why you have to plug in at least daily. Even if it's just 30 minutes a day. You know what I mean?
I think what he's referring to, he wants to say, we still factor or value cryptocurrencies in fiat currencies anyway, like US dollars.
I understand
right?
what it's
No,
trying
I'm
to
just
say.
trying to
Yeah,
figure out if you're saying this cow is going to be bigger than that cow, you base it on weight, and the weight is kilograms.
Yeah, so
When you're saying market cap currently, we can speak about other currencies, of course, we convert.
Yes.
But generally, we know the main currency in the world is the dollar. So if you're saying Ethereum is going to surpass Bitcoin, does that mean in terms of dollar is what I'm asking?
Good question.
Not
So,
necessarily
let
that
me
the
come
dollar's
in.
the only...
I totally get you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Ethereum is going to.
Okay.
I'm saying there's lots of talks in the industry.
Sure.
Excuse me. Now you need to remember, Ethereum is a platform that is owned by Vitalik Buterin.
it's not owned. He's the founder.
The
One of
founder,
founders.
sorry, the founder. That's the correct term. And let me put it this way: you've interviewed him, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
That's crazy. That alien-looking guy.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What do you
genius.
mean alien
Super
looking? What is
genius.
alien? What is alien looking?
It does look like an alien.
An alien is so we speak about Jesus. When you say Jesus, there's a face that people have seen somewhere, right? When we say
Cesario
alien,
Borgia.
yeah. So when we say aliens, there's been a lot of stuff that we've seen on the internet, on TV, and movies. Mark Zuckerberg, this guy, they look like.
Oh, you're saying it from
aliens.
that
Have some
perspective?
features.
From that
Okay, yeah.
perspective,
So
yeah.
what I was trying to say is, because there's a lot of development and there's a lot of work
Yeah.
that goes on on the Ethereum network, and or maybe let me put it this way: I probably might not know, but that's also what's happening on the Bitcoin network.
Yeah.
But they probably are communicating it more. Maybe that's a better way of putting it.
Yo, the day is very scary if we're speaking decentralized and open. It seems like cryptos, Web3 is for people that are more sure of themselves, probably not really religious, probably not really political, probably not really patriotic to a certain nation, futuristic beings who own themselves, who are smart enough, who are brave enough to be like, I'm willing to rebel against. Because you speak about sheep, the people that are scared, the people that still depend on government, and it seems like an elitist type of platform for now. And obviously we'd like to get as many people as possible to come in. Just like trading stocks, we're trying to tell people trade. Just like owning property, we tell people invest in property. It seems like currently an elitist thing. And I just want to know, will it ever get to a point where it actually filters down to the ordinary man? Not necessarily Bitcoin, not cryptocurrencies, but just the platform for the ordinary man, for them to uplift themselves and say, this is the one thing out of everything you've seen. Not Tukuba Nenkosi Ushaka, not the colonialists, not a varsity education. This is the one thing that will actually uplift you more than the rest of them as an ordinary, uneducated, religious, political party worshipping person.
Now it boils down to the individual. Now, people know me for many years. I mean, I've done all sorts of different things. I moved on to the next, moved on to the next, moved on to the next. So it's not meant for a certain type of people.
Yeah.
It's for everybody. You, the person, the individual, decides if this is what I want to. That's why I want to learn. And that's why a lot of the times I always say, Panyo, I never promote, invest this, do that. I refrain from telling people what to do. Or even in this language of digital money, what to invest in. I'm always preaching education.
Yeah.
This is from way, almost 20 years ago, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20 years ago with my foundation, going to schools. Some people, there's people actually that I'm partners with now who are in their 20s and doing well. People that I used to go to their schools, they were doing my trick back then when I was just that face that used to come to the school and preach education. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're preaching education. We're saying, let's wake up. We're not telling people what to do. This is what's going to happen. As much as a lot of the cryptocurrency, you can call them experts or knowledgeable people who talk about crypto, you'll find that a month later, you go back to what they said, and it's not exactly representative of what they said. Yes, because they also don't know. They're just basically studying historical data to base on their what you would call expert opinions on. So there's never right or wrong. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We're just assuming. These are assumptions.
Yeah.
But based on the research and based on it's like saying, it's like insisting that the future is still on physical newspapers. And young people are trying to start their own newspapers and you're encouraging them, yeah, start your own. It's going to be bigger than Sowetan. But it's not realistic because Sowetan has moved to the digital world. So the physical paper part of how they used to do business is sort of, it's old. It's old. Things are moving on. The world is evolving. So that's what I'm basing a lot of my decisions upon, that the world is evolving. Where is it evolving upon? And what's going on right now? Okay, let's study the history of money. What has been happening with money? What's happening with money right now? What are the most wealthiest or richest people saying about money? And it's all about doing that type of daily research where you are now living it, where you are now listening to these people, you're listening to different podcasts, you're reading different articles, but immersing yourself in into that world to understand that whether I like it or not, I might not agree with certain things or how they're going to be done, but it looks like this thing on the bigger scheme of things, it is the future. So that's what I'm basing it upon.
Sure.
When I'm saying it definitely is the future. This is, according to me, I might be wrong. I might be wrong.
I'd like you to answer the same question. If you feel this new platform is going to be the best way for the average Koko who's living in the villages to uplift themselves more than any other system before.
I think it's gonna work much more for the younger people even better, to be honest. Especially the ones who were born in the internet age already. They sort of understand these things much easier. Money is a concept that we're taught when we're young.
Yeah.
So to convince someone that Bitcoin is real money, even someone who's 30 years old, it's still very difficult.
Yeah.
Their whole life they've been taught that the rand is the money, the dollar is the money. Whereas most young people who had never had money before and they're experimenting and, they're not so convinced that this is all there is, it's more likely for them to pick it up. And I would like to say that, to me, I'm mostly worried about those guys because they're the future, right? If those guys can pick it up, it's all good. And then they can teach the Magogos and everyone else at home,
Yeah.
right? I would rather be speaking to those guys because if they don't get it, then it's going to be another round of wealth transfer that's happening now. And then again, we're going to miss out.
It is going to be another round of wealth transfer. I fully agree.
This is the biggest one because the last time it happened was in the 90s with the tech bubble.
Yeah.
Almost none of our people got involved. This time around, it's happening in a form of technology where it's reaching us now. I mean, I was able to buy Bitcoin. I still buy crypto right now. Someone else in Zambia can do it. someone in Limpopo can do it. Back in the day when the stocks, the tech bubble was going on, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Did you buy any Amazon stocks?
No.
20 years ago?
No.
No?
Jeez.
There you
I
go.
probably didn't know what Amazon was except a jungle.
There we go.
Yeah.
How about you, big homie?
No.
There we go, right? So the difference now is that it's happening in a format that all of us can participate. There is...
It's the most accessible format of all time.
Absolutely, right?
Okay.
And it's now driving the biggest wealth transfer. So I would tell you, one of the billionaires in crypto is a gentleman called Arthur Hayes. It's a black guy.
Okay.
He started his crypto exchange when he was in China in 2015 or so. By 2017, he was a billionaire already.
Jeez.
Right?
In dollars.
In dollars.
Okay.
And this guy, he was working for a bank before, and then he was the first guy to create a derivatives platform in crypto. And if you look at it, if he had to do this in a traditional finance, he wouldn't have.
Yeah.
They would have asked him for license and all this and this. Even now, they're still behind him trying to find something wrong. But in 2017, a gentleman called Sam Bankman-Fried jumped into crypto, started a crypto exchange in 2018. Now he's a billionaire. In 2017, a Chinese gentleman called CZ, he's the founder of Binance. Maybe you've ever heard of this platform.
I've heard of Binance, yes.
Binance. He's already a billionaire. His exchange started in 2017.
Is that the direction you're going in?
I don't know. But all I'm saying is that it's a new paradigm where we can create things from scratch without so much friction, and then we can create enormous worth. I started crypto university as well. I've never been to college myself. There was nobody to ask me for this kind of paperwork and this, because we're starting in a new platform in a new area where there's not enough expertise, and we're the ones writing the prototype because we're early.
Yeah.
And to say that it's going to create an elitist thing, I don't think that's true at all.
You don't think the wealth transfer after it's done will end up arguably in the same hands or still in a small group, even if there's new players? Like what happened with tech. Tech brought the Zuckerbergs and all these new guys, but the old guys are still invested.
Yes.
So they're
I
still
know.
making money. We just got a few new faces.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Very
It's
good
still a small
question.
group.
And for me, I know you're asking Greg, but for me to come in there, Mr. P, is you're very correct. A lot of the times, money makes the world go round. So if I've got money,
yeah.
you guys are starting this new podcast thing, might not understand it, but I want to play.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Spoo. I'm gonna offer him this amount of money. I'm gonna go to the 10 or 20 or 40 biggest podcasts in the continent, and I'm gonna offer all of them money and see who comes on board. And whoever pays the money, but whoever pays the bills controls the narrative.
That's true. Luno, I think, might be the biggest platform for buying and selling cryptos in South Africa.
It's one
And-
of them, yeah.
One of
it's-
them, there's a lot of new ones that are coming up. There's one called Yellow Card, which is an African one, started by Africans. By the way, sorry.
So
continue.
Luno, I stand to be corrected, but I believe it's under Remgrow. Remgrow is owned by Johan Rupert. It's what you're saying about, the same players. When media moved from print, Naspers, the Afrikaner Naspers, from print to digital or Mnet, it was still Naspers, to what it's become now, 10 WeChat in China, it's still Naspers. So that's why I worry that you almost keep seeing the same faces.
It's already happening.
But why
moving in
worry
the-
about it when it is sort of bringing in some sort of new people in it?
But that's my question. My question is it just after the wealth transfer is done, assuming it's done, is it going to transform because it's the most accessible? Or is it just we're just going to see new faces? But
Okay.
try and get in and be a new face. But the chances of your grandmother and your whole village, chances are higher than before, but it's not that it's going to happen.
But it's because it's happening in a currently capitalistic world, right? Where capitalists are the ones that, make the decisions.
Yeah.
They've got all the money. And capitalists come, just recently they were trying to buy come in. And I'm not saying capitalists, sorry, by the way, I must say it in the most humblest way that our negotiations are still open with the people who are trying to come on and buy 49% or half of the Hustlers Corner podcast for $500,000 is they've got the money and they can create the conversation, which happened.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of meetings with them. Yes, the deal did not get done, But with or without us, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because they already have bought or they've invested in a whole lot of other podcasts already to create this big African podcast community or platform. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he or she who pays the bills or holds the money controls the narrative because they decide what must happen here because I'm the one that's paying.
And the banks also, they tell everybody, oh, crypto is risky, don't do it, don't do this. But the banks themselves now, even in South Africa, they're actually behind a lot of these crypto exchanges.
That's what I was saying to you, that why are they coming in? Is it because, and I had my own theories, but it doesn't matter. I hear you.
Yeah, but for me, it's this. I'm not trying to solve all society problems. It's too complicated.
Yeah.
This is a low-hanging fruit for most people. As an individual, everybody out there, you can use these tools and make yourself rich.
Transform your life.
And transform your life.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important part of it. I'm not trying to figure out a way of how it's going to apply to everybody in every corner of society. I'm just saying, as a human being, as an individual, in this imperfect, corrupt system that we live in this world, that's so unfair. This is an alternative route that has been created. It's separate from the traditional route where that requires too much red tape and brown envelopes.
Yeah.
You have a much more transparent, honest way of value. And if you can, if you're a competent person, you can thrive in that honest ecosystem, right? Whereas in the real world, it doesn't really, your competence doesn't mean much.
True.
You need connections.
The game is rigged.
You know the game is rigged.
And
Exactly.
and you are testament.
Right.
You are here saying, I did it, guys.
Exactly.
I came as a nobody. I used just my phone. I used the computer. And here I am. And I'm saying, if I can do it, and I don't think I'm that special, I think you can do it. And I want to share it with the rest of you.
Look, on my YouTube channel on Crypto Hustle, I had kids who were 17 years old at the time, from Tsanin and all these other places. They were buying Bitcoin from me. Now they're millionaires.
It's brilliant.
So it's just like
It's transformed their lives.
It transformed their life for real. They buy their moms a house, they take care of their family. Some of them left the country, they live elsewhere. It's just that if you take advantage of the technology, you make it. But if you're
it's an alternative to Kshama Piano.
exactly.
If you want to transform your life, choose a piano.
Exactly.
Or get into crypto.
Yeah.
And you can do both.
Or you can do both.
Yeah. But if you try to go too philosophical about it and how it's going to solve society problems, I don't think that's the right way to use it.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I've got two questions for you. I don't know how much more time we have. Do you believe, because it's not really a theory, it's a conspiracy of sorts. Do you believe that NFTs are an attempt to colonize the internet? Number one, I'll qualify my question. And then number two, I wanted to ask if you still live in the real world. And I'll qualify that as well. The first one is NFTs, my understanding, non-fungible tokens, are looking to, if you make a picture, if you make a video, you can almost get, my understanding, like a title deed or a share certificate for that thing so that anyone who wants to use it has to pay you royalties. And it feels like people are going to want NFTs for almost everything on the internet or things that look like. So that if you want to draw a picture, if you want to make a video, if it sounds like, looks like, you're going to have to rent or pay royalties to someone else. So if that is what NFTs sort of are, do you think people are trying to colonize the internet like they did with land? And obviously the first movers are going to be the ones that are going to have all the NFTs. Mafuna, DJ Smooth's face, laughing, crying, whatever. Royalties are going to come to you. That's the one. The second one is, do you still live in the real world? Bill Gates is arguably now the largest private farm or land owner in America. We're speaking now about moving forward into the future. We're almost telling kids, don't go back to the village and breed cattle and whatever and grow your own food because everything is convenient now. Are you just plugged into this metaverse and because you have money, you can buy all these things? Or do you still live in the real world? Do you still go hiking? Do you still climb a tree? Do you hug trees? Do you still speak to human beings in real time and touch them?
Right.
Etc. So those two questions, do you think NFTs are trying to colonize and do you still live in the real world?
So on the NFT trying to colonize the internet, the answer is clearly no. They're just trying to make the internet better. Everybody, and this is where the Web3 thing comes on.
Maybe they are, we don't know. But anyways, because you never know these elites. You never even know.
It's like copywriting.
You don't even know.
Once you copyright stuff, when people want to kind of use, now they have,
You
you
know
have
what I
to
mean?
pay.
Like you don't even know. You never even know who's the real Satoshi Nakamoto. What if it's actually them? You don't
Yeah.
know.
I think let's look at work, for example, right?
I like the cypherpunks story.
Yeah.
I like that one better than, it's like the Bible was written by different people.
Yeah.
So whether Jesus was real or not, maybe there were people that just put this book together
Yeah.
and they spoke about this guy. Same guy. So I'm like, I'd rather believe there are cypherpunks than believe there's a Natoshi.
Satoshi
Satoshi.
Nakamoto, yeah.
Yeah.
So with the NFT thing, right? Let's think of work. A lot of people work their whole life and they never really retire at all.
Yeah.
I think the idea of work is actually stupid. It's
Working for money.
working for money is
Or not just being physically
is
productive.
the dumbest idea in the world. It's
being
just
physically
level.
productive or working for money.
Working for money.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing in the world. Even though we do it, we study just to really work for money. It just doesn't make sense at all if you think about it.
Crazy system.
If you work, working means life's work to me. I can only work on something that adds more value towards my life over time. And even if I'm done, if that thing still exists, it should be paying me forever. Right? Now, this video, this podcast we're doing right now is a good example of that. We're going to record it. It's going to be done. It's posted on the internet. 10 years from now, it's still on YouTube. People are still watching it. It's still generating value for you,
Yeah.
right? Because you are the creator. This is what the Web3 economy is all about. It's decentralized, but it's a creator economy. Everything that you create and you put it on the internet has value, but currently that value sits in the hands of Facebook. The videos you make all the time on Facebook, like you don't get paid for that from that.
Yeah.
Facebook is still able to advertise, and in their market cap, whatever, they add your content as part of engagement, right? They count that in and then they're able to make money.
Yeah.
YouTube is the same as well. And it doesn't, at least YouTube, we share the money with them. However, they can turn off your account just like that.
Yes.
Now, what's the Web3 and NFTs are trying to do? I was trying to say, look, if you create something, you should be able to put it online in a way that nobody can just come and shut it down. And if somebody uses it, you don't have to get lawyers to hunt for it or some third party to look for who is using your stuff so that you can get paid. It's an automated system of law. Because look, another broken part of our world is law and how it all works. It's pretty much like a scam also,
Yeah.
right? You need to get lawyers
I
for
agree
this.
with you.
You know the deal.
Law is pretty much a scam.
It is a scam, right?
Sure.
Yeah, but what's going on is that you need a bunch of rules that say this guy must get paid when the art is used. And for that, I don't think it's fair that we need to get a lawyer involved in a 6-page document to do it. We can literally just write the rules, sign them off, and let it run. Whatever happens with that piece of creation, whatever the rules you set, it will happen accordingly. If I'm not happy with using your item because I'm being charged 10% moving forward, I'm not going to use it.
What if I create something similar to yours and I claim that it's original content?
Well, then there are systems that are tracking that digitally. And
It's like music.
it's like music.
There's about Shazam.
And also,
I think the same system that Shazam is using to track.
yes.
And this is part of my concern, because when you go to tertiary, to university, and you write an essay, especially in your junior years, you have to reference. You're not allowed to not reference. And I can come up with something. I can say the law is a scam. And they're like, no, you have to reference to Gray. And I'm like, who the fuck is Gray? They're like, no, you have to go and find the book where he said something similar. I'm like, no, but this is mine. And they're like, no, there's no such thing. And my concern is, once we have enough people owning original content, even music, at some point, the algorithms, whatever's using it, is going to pick up something that sort of sounds like something, because they would have taken so much of it.
There's never going to be enough.
You don't believe so?
No.
There never is.
You really
There
don't
never
believe
will
so?
be.
But also,
don't
I
think so.
actually do think
When
that
it comes
it's
to
better.
creativity.
If it's better if it's done that way, because computers can do a much better job of detecting copies or reuse of other people's content than people.
The reuse, I understand.
Yeah.
The similarity is my issue. I sang a Brian McKnight song on one of my YouTube videos. I was just singing. I wasn't playing the song. I was singing, and it picked up as a copyright situation. Now, I was just thinking in terms of melody, in terms of maybe lyrical content, if you play something sort of along the lines of, Those are some of my concerns.
but
And
you-
rightfully so, though.
You can also, rightfully so, but also you can codify that. You can write a piece of software in AI that sort of knows that, okay, it's only should be flagged when it's used within this context. It's not that difficult.
Or this much, or how long of it. et cetera.
Exactly. Yeah, that's something you can write into the smart contract. Only if the use literally is a copy of this directly, then it should be flagged. Or if it's changed, maybe only 21% is changed, it's okay. But from 22% and above, then it's flagged as copyright.
I'll let it rest for now. My second question, do you still live in the real world?
I do live in the real world. I own a farm as well myself and things
Hey.
like that. Yeah.
Thanks to crypto?
Thanks to crypto. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I sold some Bitcoin last year and I bought me a 50 acres piece of land and
Jeez.
all that stuff. Yeah, it's cool. But, you know.
Congrats.
Thank you. I do live in the real world, but I'm also careful with what the real world is. You know, if you say, do you go hiking? Yes, I do hike. I do go hiking a lot. And Bill Gates owns a lot of land. I think you are thinking of it in terms of say, oh, you guys are just going hard into the digital platforms and you're leaving the real world, and someone else is going to own it, right?
As one of the concerns, yes.
Yes. The thing is, value is where people are spending most of their time, or the perception of value is, right? So if people are now assigning more value into the digital ecosystems, or whether it's the metaverse land, it also means this is valuable.
Yeah.
So for me, I invested in metaverse land in 2016, 2017, and that has appreciated more than all the land, I would say, in the real world, right? So that's value. And it just depends now on what do you consider real. Because I think there are people who think that the metaverse or the digital environment is not real. That's not true. Both are real. I'll give you an example. If you look at a hot girl on Instagram, right? She looks hot. You're like, oh man, she looks good. And you meet her in real life and she looks 50% good.
Sure.
What would be your conclusion? Would you say she's a fake person or not? Is what you are seeing
I'm not the
a
right
fake?
person to answer that question. Please,
Okay.
please carry on with your point.
Okay, my point is there are two different worlds that we live. There's a digital world, it's real.
Yeah.
And then there's the physical real world. So someone who might look in a certain way on the internet and people believes it and buy into that image, even though she might not be the same exact person in real life. In the digital environment, she is that person.
Sure.
And you're able to buy into it and follow her and everything follows with that.
Yeah.
So that's a new creation of her digitally, a version of her that she has perfectly designed to look in a certain way. And that has value. It's art, it's creation. So to think of that as not a real world is not true because it has value. There are brands that are paying that person to do this and that because people are following her. Now, how that's going to expand into the metaverse in other worlds, it's a whole different topic. But I don't agree that this is the real world because it's physical and then the digital world is not.
Jeez, I've got a follow-up question. I once heard that parts of Asia are starting to experiment with digital influencers. So instead of asking a DJ Spoo to promote Timo Fire, you create either a digital character that looks like you or even use normal Popeyes to promote, because maybe kids are more willing to drink more fire if a Popeye, let's say a cartoon Mzegezege as an example, is promoting this thing versus a real person that they know.
And shout out to Lebo.
Yeah.
Lebo is a brother of mine. Sorry to the me just come in there. He's created a character called Kim Zulu, which you guys can Google now. Go follow Kim Zulu right now. Go check out the post that Kim Zulu is putting on. Kim Zulu already has got some endorsement sponsors.
deals.
Kim
Jeez.
Zulu has already done work with Mini South Africa. Kim Zulu is already doing work with some local fashion brands.
Yeah.
And it's just a virtual character who's not a real person, but who's just a virtual, amazing model.
crazy.
Who's got some sort of a story, a storyline, being one of the first African digital influencers. And shout outs to Lebza, who's Fat Joe's younger brother.
Is in Nzekezeke was the same thing. He only existed on screen and in the music.
No, he really existed. He's a real
is
human
it?
being. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
but
I
people have
think
never
he's
met him.
explaining it as a
No, I know.
concept.
I'm just joking. It's just a joke. Continue.
You've seen The Matrix.
Yes.
would you ever, so in the Matrix, there's a part where Neo is shown that he's actually not living in a real world. And he is woken up in a capsule where he's swimming in this pink goo and he's been plugged in and he's been living in this artificial virtual world. Would you be willing to be plugged into something like that where you don't have to, what we call now the real world, you wouldn't need to eat, you wouldn't need to exercise, you wouldn't need to, you can just plug into that and then go virtually and live virtually for the rest of your life, and it feeds you and it powers you and whatever.
Well, I think in some ways, humanity is going to evolve into half man, half machine. As the technology improves, if you break your arm, you're going to be able to replace it and put another one.
Yeah.
And eventually, we're going to become cyborg. That's inevitable.
We've had this conversation.
Transhumanism.
Usbu says he doesn't want the chip.
Yeah, no, I don't want the chip.
Well,
It's transhumanism, whether we like it or not. I think that's where the elites are leading us.
Yeah.
But there's people like me who are resistant to that. Like, no.
Oh, but look, you can't compare a person who lived 6,000 years ago to someone who is now. It's just like you're wearing glasses right now. Someone at that time would say, oh, we're going to be wearing glasses just to improve our vision.
Transhumanism.
That's
No.
transhumanism. No, we're not going to do that. Or drive into cars instead of walking. We're not going to do that. So
That makes me half a machine because I'm inside a machine that
it
I'm
is.
powering.
I mean, it's the same thing. It just happens in species. So if humanity evolves to where we're sleeping in a pod and we're imagining things and all that, I don't have a problem with it.
Would you be willing to do that, let's say currently now?
It would depend what the incentives are, It's like, okay, what do I gain from it?
You get to live fully in a metaverse where you can be anything. You can create this even in there. So you never have to feel whatever.
I'm already living in the metaverse.
I still...
My first 2 NFTs were an introduction into the metaverse.
Okay.
A lot of people are not aware of that, but people in the metaverse are aware. Or he did this NFT where he's got dreadlocks and he's just floating in the... Or he did this second NFT where it's got like fires. And then people are just going to want chapters and chapters and episodes of that lifestyle in the virtual world. Some point I'll probably even get old and be sitting in my bed at some 80-something-year-old man. But virtually, I'm DJ Spoo, who's probably still young and hot and happy.
Would you be willing to plug into that for the, let's say, even if it's temporarily or for the rest of your life?
If I die, I'll be able to do it.
For now, the answer is no. But
What did you say, Craig?
Sorry, go ahead.
If I die, and that would be my continuation
No, not to
of my
die. I'm
life.
talking about just now.
Just now, I'm still like an ape of this current world. So I'm still plugged into the physical world. I still want human connection and all that stuff.
You're not ready to leave this.
I don't think fully. Partly I would. I would like to be in a place where I can just be whatever I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're saying no.
For now.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
And
for
I
now.
know most people have problems with this kind of things. Oh, the chips, like Boo says, they don't want the chips. They don't want this and that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's inevitable, guys. It's going to happen.
I spoke to
these elites
Spoo
are-
that we're
Sorry,
already
go ahead.
carrying chips. They're just not
Yeah.
under our skin.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we already carry chips wherever we go.
And that's what the elites have done over the years. They've done a great job, by the way.
Yeah.
Because they're doing it in phases, right? So
They
that we
realize
don't-
when people are
So that we
resistant.
don't reject it. Yeah, we're the ones actually that are even asking for more of it.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we give the elites too much power, don't you think?
We do.
You know?
We do. But they know also how to control us. And because over the years or the previous decades, they've done a really good job in buying off all the necessary businesses that support or that become tools to their supposed agenda that help them achieve whatever they want to achieve in the future.
But
And it keeps on happening in cycles, in pages, in chapters,
If we remove the elites, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think most of humanity has what it takes to be a real individual human being who's functional? Or you think that people still want someone to tell them what to do? Because
It's an unfair question.
I gave up on the idea that people can be rational enough to just be completely individualistic and act according to what they should do.
I think they
I
can.
understand why you say that, but it's an unfair question because you're asking based on our conditioning. So you'd have to first remove the conditioning to understand if we could actually function like that. But if your premise is always going to be,
Yes.
the departure point is always going to be, but based from what we've seen, but you haven't seen an alternative.
It's
Yeah, that's
exactly
true.
like Africans, right? We always say that, a lot of people who always say that Africans have always been woke. Africans actually created this civilization. And then other people say, yeah, but Africans were. What if we were not there?
Yeah.
What would you guys have done on your own? We'll never know.
Yeah.
But I agree with you in the current framework. I'm
get
exactly where you are, especially with what we call limited time, which is a concept we've also been sold. At a time when I try to empower and liberate as many people as possible, I realized that the vast majority, 95 to 99% of people want parents. They want to be told what to do. And even if you're going to give them what's called freedom, it has to be the illusion and it mustn't be the real thing, because they must always have a fallback plan and it must always be on you. And you must own it and you must lead.
Yeah,
But that's just my opinion.
It's unfortunate, but also, with doing the things in crypto, I've learned it the hard way as well, that people want somebody to tell them what to do.
You can be like, no, but you can find this on your own. They're like, no.
No, you give them freedom, they literally
Please
say
lead
no.
me.
Yeah, they say, please lead me. They'll look up to something. That's why flags exist.
Yeah.
They're looking for something to attach
To hold themselves to, yeah. Identity, tribes,
You already know the deal, yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's what creates, in my opinion, it's not that capitalism is bad. People talk about capitalism all the time. It's not that capitalism is bad. It's just that people's desperate need for authority is what creates all the unfairness in the world.
Yeah.
Period. Because if that wasn't the case, people would be able to think for themselves. They would be able to vote wisely. But they can't, because with all the biases and attachment that they have to all these entities they create for themselves,
You were saying something interesting before we started filming, which is you believe the world at some point will move from nation states, I'm a South African, I'm a whatever,
Yes.
To a space where people just move freely. So for example, I know a lot of South Africans are moving to places like Dubai. I'm hoping at some point they'll move to places like Tokyo, etc., where if you're not happy with a certain space, work environment, whatever, climate, you move. And it's no longer that you're attached to a flag, as you're saying.
Yes.
What do you think will drive that, number one? And then number two, I've always had an issue with the fact that the smartest people that are the most capable are not given. And look, it's elitist. Why do I still have to apply for an American visa when I have a PhD and $1 million? Why don't I just move? And what are your thoughts around something like that to feed into what you're saying, that we're going to move? Who do you think is going to drive that?
Okay, so I think the money structures will be the first thing. So I do know some people who are billionaires in US dollars.
Yeah.
They have their money in crypto.
Okay.
Right? And they're low key, nobody knows, because they made their money differently. There could be a South African guy from wherever, from the Eastern Cape, who was mining Bitcoins in 2010.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know, right? And these guys, you have to give them a reason to be in a place.
Yeah.
Just like any competent person, if I'm gonna be in South Africa, if you're gonna be here, you need to have a reason to be here.
Yeah.
If you don't need anything from it, so if you're not looking for a job in the UK, there's no business there for you, right? Now it's gonna be like, okay, how are you gonna treat me? How is your taxes? Is your tax rate too high? Are you keeping the streets clean?
How's the weather?
How is the weather? How is the electricity going? How fast is the internet? And so on and so forth. Now, if you start making life difficult for me, I'm just going to move into a different place.
Yeah.
Now it's so difficult because of how the banking works. You have a loan with a real estate at the bank, or you have your education system is sort of attached to one place in the world. But now with learning platforms like Crypto University, knowledge is being democratized at the moment. And if you don't give someone an incentive to be in a place, they will have absolutely no need to be there, because they have money in Bitcoin. They just jump on a plane and go to the other one. I'm an example of that. I live in Dubai now because it's easy to set up shop.
Live.
Yes.
Full time most of the time.
Well, on paper, because I've been traveling for 2 years straight.
Yeah.
I've never been in one place for more than, say, 33 days.
Jeez.
I'm always changing. So if there is no incentive for me to move into a place, whether it's a tax benefit or you're not giving me an environment to thrive, I'm just going to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
And like you said, it doesn't make sense for people who are highly competent in society. You shouldn't make life too difficult for them. Otherwise, another government is going to compete. So Dubai is doing that right now. They're like, oh, all the good guys, if you seem like a competent person, you can build companies, you have high technical skills, or you have money, come here, here's the space. Oh, here's a golden visa we're giving you because we want people like you to our country.
Canada's doing the same.
Canada's doing the US was doing the same. That's what helped them to accelerate their growth. Right?
I can
There are a
imagine
lot of
developing Silicon Valley, because Silicon Valley's got a majority immigrants, or not immigrants, I don't know if immigrants is the right term, but majority foreigners, their demographics.
Not from
Elon
People
Musk,
not from America.
Elon Musk,
Elon Musk.
The founders of Google.
Yes.
One of them is Russian.
Even the current CEO of Google is not an American guy. I think it's an Indian or
The
someone
current
from
CEO,
that side.
Sundar is definitely an Indian guy.
Yeah.
You look at Vitalik Buterin as well, who created Ethereum. He's originally from Russia, but he grew up his parents are from Russia, but he was born in Canada.
Yeah.
You look at Peter Thiel as well, co-founder of PayPal and Palantir, originally German,
Yeah.
but his parents moved to the US, right?
So people move to fertile earth, and you're saying we want to keep doing that, and you're saying it's going to be a money thing. And I think for me, for those of us virtual squatters, hustlers that are on these platforms, we need to start having these conversations. Just like we speak about ESCOM is not working, how do we go to alternative energy? We can't crack the fiat money system, how do we win in cryptos? If this environment is not working, being in South Africa, being in Joburg, let's not hold ourselves here, because our people were always a moving people. Let's find more fertile earth. And if Dubai is the place to be, then Ukraine needs to take us to Dubai so that we can thrive and win and build a better world. But we must be driving that change and not waiting for someone to tell us to go to Dubai.
And it's been an interesting conversation. I've been watching this episode. How do I register or become a part of the crypto university platform? And a lot of people are, now let's talk about the cryptocurrency language. A lot of people in the space ecosystem, people are there's a lot of criminals. Let me put it that way, for lack of a better word. A lot of people are scamming people.
Scammers.
Who do I know? What platform do I know that it's actually legit and it's the right platform for me to learn from?
Yeah, so it goes back to what I was saying. If you're going to look for an authority to tell you
Yeah.
what to do, that's how you get scammed. Period. Crypto, like we explained in this episode, is something that you do it for yourself. It's a personal thing. It's not a company thing. Bitcoin itself is not a company at all, right?
Studying crypto is a form of self-liberation, is what you're saying.
Exactly. It's like education. It's self-liberation. You do it, you keep it inside your head. That's why they say education is power, because they cannot steal it from you. Even though the current education is poor,
Yeah,
it's
it is
terrible. But still, you still have it inside yourself. So if you go to cryptouniversity.co.za, you learn all the knowledge that you need to learn. Currently, we have a program, what we call Learn Crypto, right here. That's being sponsored by Yellow Card at the moment. And you will learn the fundamentals, the basics, how to get into crypto. And we have a community of people who can support you. If you have any questions, we have a Discord channel, we have Telegram, and we do this every day, nonstop. So if you don't want to be, behind and want to be empowered and be part of the new world of money and the new wealth distribution, then you have to be part of it. But again, nobody should be looking for a savior in this.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard, because it's different from opening a bank account. It requires you to be more proactive, just like school. If you want to be good at it, you have to be smashing, learn as much as you can. And that's how you become successful into it. And remember, not your keys, not your money. That's what we say.
Not your?
Not your keys, not your money.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's
thank you
easy
very
to
much.
get scammed because a lot of the times we allow people to scam us. I'll make an easy example. For me to get my Twitter handle hacked, or for my Twitter to get hacked, I clicked onto a link
Yeah.
that I thought was coming from a reputable person, because it
Yeah.
was an account with over 500,000 followers. It was a UK account with a blue check.
Yeah.
And that person also was scammed.
Jeez.
And they went into DMs and all of the people that follow them, or vice versa, and they started taking chances and sending all these messages to all these different people. And I happened to be one of those people who just looked at it and was like, okay, it's a blue check. Oh, over 500. Oh, okay. It's a legit person. Let me just see what
Clips.
Clips.
Click,
So that's
click.
basically what he's saying. You the one that allows the scammers to scam you.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and a simple way is that there's no easy money in crypto. Nobody should message you in a DM and say, hey, let me help you make 1,000 Rand per day. You just have to start with putting in 10,000. There's
Yeah.
no such a thing.
Yeah.
So these are the things that get people scammed. It's the easy money.
Sure.
As long as the moment you remove the idea of easy money from your head, you're never going to be scammed.
And I'm never going to ask for nobody to give me money or send money wherever. I'm never going to tell people what to do with their money. I'm never promoting investing in crypto. None of this. I'm promoting education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what also Gray always
Yes.
says. I'll never be on your DMs. I'll never be saying this and that, asking you for money. Those are the people that will take his account and put in maybe like a little dot. It still looks like him.
And
they
then
use his profile.
sadly-
You get into that account, it looks like it's him who's been posting over the past couple of months or weeks. And then you click and you believe them and you think it's Greg and it's not. Or you think it's Penuel or you think it's Sbu. And I'm sure probably that has happened with you as well, of people are trying to fake or clone your profile. And they're trying to be you and going into other people and trying to scam them. That happens a lot in the cryptocurrency space.
We have to teach people. I think we've spoken, you and I, that at some point we have to prioritize cybercrime and those things and getting people more aware of how to avoid being scammed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
but thank you
actually
very much.
have a lesson on this in Crypto University as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So if our students know, like if you're someone in Crypto University, you could really never be scammed by this kind of cheap scams, because we cover all this in our courses to make sure that people understand. It's very important, and they can come in different formats. As long as you're aware, you should more likely be fine.
Cheers, thank you. Mina saying kotola me.
Yeah, no, Nam. 3
know,
months,
right?
last quarter of
Jeez.
the year. What is Gray planning? What are you going to be up to for the rest of 2022?
2022, I want to get into
Three more months in 2022. What are you up to?
I have some activities to do. I know I have to go speak in Uganda in next week or two, and then I go to Brazil after that, and then there are conferences I need to speak as well in Dubai, and then I want to get to the US by the end of the year. So, there's so much traveling and so much activity, and a lot of trading also, because the markets are like up and down. The macro environment has changed everything. So there's crypto, there's stocks, there's this. And I want to make a lot of crypto investments as well, with a lot of things that I wanted to buy last year, but the prices were like here. Now it has all come down.
Hey, buy the dip.
Yeah, buy the dip. You already know the deal.
Good to see you, bro.
I've got a
Good,
question,
yes.
Sbuda, before you close off.
Okay.
With all this traveling and all this being plugged into what you're doing, partner, kids, do you even have time for friends? Are there people that are traveling with you, or is it a one man, one soldier, one vision?
This one is 10
story.
years younger than you. You are almost 10 years younger than me. Jeez. It's still a lighty, bro.
I mean,
He's allowed to do whatever he still
I'm
wants
not
to
married, and I don't have any kids at the moment.
Okay.
And it works for me. I sold everything. I don't have a house. I only have 2 bags that I travel.
I love that very much. Minimalism.
Minimalism.
One of my beliefs in penalism.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, it freed me a lot. It was just like it was another scam also that I bought
is.
into, of owning so many
Baggage
things. I don't own
everywhere.
a car. I don't own anything.
Beautiful.
I just make sure that my income streams are good enough that I can be where I want to be in the world. And it's been working effectively.
And he hires people virtually.
Yes, exactly.
He works with people from the Philippines, people from the US, people from some people he's never even met.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
And that's a
I'm
new
gonna
world,
spend
guys.
more time with Gray on virtually, online,
Yeah, let's do it.
in the metaverse. But
Let's
thank
do
you
it.
so much, brother.
Thanks,
really
man.
appreciate
You're doing
it.
great work.
well-
Did we convert you yet, though?
On a scale of 1 to 100, I'll say 45% for now, which I think is good enough.
But I think personally, it's because you're trying to save the world, man.
No. So let me just qualify, since we did start with this.
Yeah.
I did say to you, Sbu, that I am going to try and invest time in learning Web 3. I don't know why it's called 3.0. It's 3.0.
Yeah.
Web 3.0, understanding blockchain, understanding crypto. I studied computer science. Some people don't know. I studied it as 7th subject in high school. I did computer science in university. I did information systems. When I was working in banking, I actually studied statistical analytical software. So I understand coding. People don't know that about me. I love knowledge. We love knowledge. So I always want to learn, and I want to be ahead of the curve. Not only ahead of the curve, I want to be part of the elite circles that decide on where the world is going. If Bill Gates is deciding, I want to be sitting next to him and saying, Bill, I think you're talking shit. This is actually what needs to happen. So this is fundamentally important for me. The reason it's 45% and not maybe 100 is because I'm not ready to buy cryptocurrencies, but I am ready to visit the crypto university, to learn more, to get more involved with blockchain, to have a deep dive so that when I speak to people and my understanding of where this world is going, let's say like a WhatsApp. Hi, WhatsApp, na my phone. I'm like, Mama, if you understand WhatsApp, if you're selling amakwenya, you can speak to your customers using this thing.
Yep.
You may not be a tech person selling stocks, but if I can teach you using blockchain, whatever, we speak to politicians. We could be the people to convince them, guys, IEC, let's use blockchain, and we're going to be the people that are going to be championing it. So those are the reasons why I'm going to get involved in learning. I want to spend time with Gray and a couple of other guys. I want to plug more into the world, and I want us to create a futuristic. Spoken to Vusi Tembewai, I've told you, I think he's also largely based in Dubai now. We spoke to Tutuzane Zuma, who was based in Dubai at some point. We need to connect with South Africans that are around the world and create global citizens so that we can try to save the world, so that we can try and uplift our people while we also thriving.
I like that. I like we can uplift our people, not saving the world. You
Yeah,
know, I think
yeah.
uplifting our people is a much more practical task.
Yeah. So from where I was before, maybe I was at 20%. You guys took me to 45. So
Okay.
that means you guys must work harder. But
Yeah.
Well done.
we're gonna
Yeah, I think as long as we move the needle,
Somewhere.
we did something. Yeah.
Last words to the people out there. Look at them. Speak to them.
Yeah, man, I would say the most important thing you want to do, at least just buy $50 rands worth of Bitcoin and just use it, man. Because
Use it to
usually-
buy stuff.
Just use it to send it to a friend or buy it, buy Bitcoin and then convert it into another crypto.
Okay.
I promise you, once you do that, you're never going to go back. Sometimes it takes so much time from someone to go from 0 to 70%
Yeah.
because they talk about it in a much more
It's
theoretical.
theoretical. Just play
I
the
think
game.
the most important thing for you, probably just buy $50 of it and see how it works, how easy it is to send Bitcoin from your wallet into his Booz account and then receive from someone else. Once you test that, you're never going to go back. It's just a mind switch, man. It's like, oh, wow, what was I doing before crypto?
Yeah.
So the only thing I can say to people is that buy 50 rand worth of crypto. And then if you think it's bullshit, then you can decide after that.
Jeez, thanks a lot, Greg. Yeah, good.
Been a great episode, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. 4 things quickly. Number 1, potential property and real estate investors, Ekasi Noble Property Development. There's a link there. Number 2, Inzalo Yolanga African New Year, courtesy of the Great Empire of Kemet movement. We are collaborating with them. We're working with them. We're assisting them and using this platform as a platform where we can, rally as many people as possible to come through and join us. The journey starts on the 21st of September. We're coming back on Sunday, the 25th, which will be the last event at the Credo Mutua Village in Soweto. The link is in the description. Click that link as well. Go buy packages. There's different packages. Gold package, platinum package. There's also a diamond package. You can see what you can get from there. We're leaving on the 21st in Johannesburg. We're driving, following each other. There's also those who don't have cars, getting into public transport. I'm a bus. We're organizing all of that. Accommodations. It's going to be a dinner, all sorts of different things. If you want more information, click on the link. The Great Empire of Kemet will take you to Mkhulu Ntsengiza's platform. Can learn more about the different packages that are there. Another link that is in there will take you to this podcast, which is Virtual Mkuku. At some point in the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months, it will migrate into its own platform. Go click on that click on that link. Go subscribe there. Become a part of that platform as well. We will be sharing content moving forward. And then lastly, for those that are looking for the More Fire merchandise, click there. It'll take you to More Fire, or you're looking for drinks. But definitely, lastly, it is the Learn Crypto platform, which we've collaborated with cryptouniversity.co.za, and Great Jabesi being the founder. We've decided to get sponsors to pay for these programs.
Beautiful.
So that you guys can come and study for free. Entry-level courses, beginners courses, they are available on cryptouniversity.co.za, courtesy of Great Jabesi. You guys can study for mahala until you understand this thing. As your knowledge grows, then you can move on to other platforms or work with other people or learn from whoever else out there. Thank you so much. I hope you guys love this episode, and I hope it changes somebody's life out there. Thank you once again, bro.
Always, Buddha. Thank you very much. Just in closing for me, a challenge to all the virtual squatters. In all the videos that you're watching, please feel free to post links, educational links. Please feel free to drop some knowledge as well that you may have. Put us on, put other virtual squatters on. It can't always be that it's just this platform that's teaching. If you have certain knowledge and you can drop it in the comments, please do that. Connect with us on all our social media channels and let's build a better world. These are all just tools. Money, crypto, language, cows, land. These are all just tools, and we're trying to find the right tools so that we can live the best life that we can. That's me.
And happy September, guys. Hopefully you guys are going to have a great springtime. I know makasa pasha, ma spring cleaning, siyapenda, siba ready for the summer. So go September, manje kancane. You'll be singing krepe, guys will be wearing shorts. Some people are going back to the gym only now to try and look good for the festive season. We're saying go right ahead. The information also has been decentralized. We are living on the internet. We're not with mainstream media. We're doing our thing here, and it's a beautiful thing. Go to his platforms, subscribe. The links are in the description. Go to his platforms, subscribe. Links are in the description. Go to my also own personal platform, subscribe. Links are in the description. And Virtual Mkuku will be back again next week for another exciting episode. Thank you for the video. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you. Danke, son.
Got me sipping on the more fire when I need more power. That's why I done hit a lick off a couch and I need more finer. Big time a low rider, running no more fire. And I ain't been stacking up home grade. Hustling more fire, more fire, more fire, more fire, more fire, more fire. Better wire it to my account. More fire, more.
This is the Hustler's Corner.